I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast episode number 176. This one's with Amy and Adam Kennedy, and we talk about their recent travels to London and Amsterdam. If you remember correctly, I had them on way back on episode 2 when they had went to Brazil. That episode was a lot of fun, so I knew this one would be a lot of fun too. Amy and Adam aren't really promoting anything, so the best thing you can do to follow them is give a follow to Refill Coffee Cart, which they co-own with Chad Grenner on all the socials. You can find outbound links to all the socials at refillcoffeecart.com. You can also order some beans and cold brew coffee and all that there. Be sure to do that too. But make sure you give them a follow on all the socials and buy some stuff from them too. But I appreciate Amy and Adam for coming on. Sponsor this week is Feral Giant. Feral Giant is a graphic design, illustration, and social media consultation company based here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Though they do work for clients big and small all over the country, all over the globe, in fact. But they also do photography, videography, video editing, and audio editing, website design, SEO, writing, content development. Hell, they'll babysit your kids if it nets them money. So make sure you give them a follow on social media on either Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn at Feral Giant. And be sure to give them an email today and hire them for your next project. Without much further ado, here's the episode.
Okay, well, that's cool. It's
IT.
all technology.
Had to do that with AirDrop. And we're going to go ahead and be recording on this where somebody tried to AirDrop me something. I turned everything on.
Yep.
It should have worked.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hold on, let me reboot my phone. Let me go do something else, reboot my phone, come back.
Yeah.
And it worked to me. And I was like, it's 2024. How are we not figuring, how is this still an issue, I guess?
Did you ever see the show IT Crowd?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Have you tried turning it on and off again? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm trying. The episode will not have released by the time this comes out, but there's an episode where my amp in there for my record player kept cutting on during it. I was like, "Oh, I guess the ghosts want to hear some records, brother."
Yes,
and it's just the little power button is broken.
Oh,
It's not broken. It's just everything is standby now.
It's
not,
eager.
yeah, it's not power on. Your TV's not off. It's
Right.
on standby.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Power
that's
save.
what that is. And it's an older one that's been turned on and off a lot. So
Okay.
That's what she said.
Dang.
thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Shortest podcast ever, but that was worth it just for that ending. Yeah. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Plug here anywhere you want people to follow you. Like and subscribe.
I have a GoFundMe. That I want to stop finding ways to make my own money, and I would like you all to make money for me. GoFundMe.com/Adam E. Kennedy.
E. Okay.
Yeah, my middle name's Edward.
Oh, I was going to say earn, but
No, I'm not trying to earn anything. I'm trying to give me.
you're trying to earn other people's money.
That's right. I need
Go.
y'all to get to work.
Fund me.
Me.
Yeah.
Me. I am the one.
Yeah, I'm not funding you. You're funding me.
Yeah.
If you want funding, start a site called GoFund You. GoFund Me.
Oh, I tried it. GoFund You is gone, but I got the U. Not the YOU, but just the U.
Gotcha. Okay.
There you go. think about that stuff.
You do.
You got to take out the vowels like in Tumblr, except for the U.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, SEO.
Yeah.
Did you see there was this golfer in whatever major golf tournament happened here in June, and he was sponsored by this big accounting firm that goes by the initials BDO.
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 Do not know.
And the logo has on the far left side what looks like an L. So this person that tracks sports marketing, Jordan Rogers, I believe is his name, he followed like the Google search trends of how many people started searching libido because they thought that was the name of the company sponsoring this superstar golfer. Like, that's why when you make a company logo, you need to see how it looks when it's two colors. Their primary color is two colors, where BDO is blue, and then the thing that looks like an L is in red, so you can see a separation. But on the hat that the golfer wore, it was all one color logo, so it looked like libido, which is a website. It's something like it's not based in the United States, but you can well, we're adults. It's like, sex aids.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
like
you,
Blue Chew. Or
yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. I was about to be like, you could look it up. I don't want to say it. I was like, I'm 40. Like, I know.
Which is one of the reasons we took a trip.
I was about to go down another rabbit hole. And guess what? You can imagine what rabbit hole I was going to go down.
Whose rabbit hole? Hey, ooh.
Hashtag Tinder. Speaking of
Hashtag.
apps with no. So you took a trip. So we're throwing it back, and I should have listened to it. The second ever episode of Ramblin' Man.
Wow.
Recorded, I don't remember if released, but recorded was you all going to Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it released because we listened to it with Amy's parents one time, and Amy's mom kept complaining about how millennials have the urge to talk about all the details of their life, which was interesting commentary. And yeah, I remember every bad thing anyone has ever said to me.
He does. I have no recollection of that.
Oh, I remember
Well,
when it happened.
Adam, I fully expect just one-word answers out of you.
Got it. And Susan,
That's
if
two.
you're listening.
That's two. Got it. It's two. You're already screwed.
No, but squish them together. It's like libido. Yep. LBDO. Squish them together.
Goit.
Got it. Yeah.
Goit.
Goit it.
Oh, my God.
Off to a good start.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What inspired this trip to London and Amsterdam? Was it because you were turning 40?
That was part of it. Was that momentous age? Wanted to do something special, and we went with Amy's sister Rachel and her partner David. And David had just gotten his PhD. That felt like something that needed to be celebrated in a big way. Yeah. So the desire to go on a trip and then sort of reverse engineering, like, well, why should we put this much effort into it? And like, oh, well, these special things have happened in the blast radius of the days we
And you're
wanted
coming
to.
out of the pandemic. Like,
Yeah.
getting the furthest away would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his 40th birthday, David's graduation, my sister's birthday is around the time that we went. And then my 40th is later this year. So both of our birthdays are in like colder weather times. So we decided between the two 40th birthdays, that would be a good time to go.
I have winter shorts y'all can borrow. you might have to cinch them a little bit.
Suspenders.
For the listening audience, I am 5'1".
Yeah.
So if I were to wear Jody's shorts, those are
They'd be like
pants for one
coveralls.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm a single man. I'm showing off the hams to the ladies. This may actually be
or
true.
maybe I could wrap it around, make it a skirt, and just come out of one leg hole.
Because those skirts had the flap that went across the front. People would think it was a skirt, but it's actually Jody shorts.
That's it. Yes.
Jorts, but a different kind.
Boom.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Does anyone own the trademark to jorts, I wonder?
Junko does.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Y'all don't remember Jinkos?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
They.
I think I mispronounced it the
No.
first time. But
I think you said Jinko. Jinko's correct.
I think you said Junko, like
Junko.
like
Junko.
junior college.
That's Italian. Sorry.
That's another accounting firm that sponsors golfers.
We had, again, it's Ramble Man, two guys that we went to college with, Short Mark and Tall Mark.
Who's we?
Greg and I, sorry. I always think Greg and I would chat. I think I cut my eye, so if I'm checking, sorry. Short Mark and Tall Mark.
Yeah.
Short Mark wore Jinko jeans, and they were long enough to fit me. So everywhere he went, we were like, you're mopping the floor with your pants.
Yuck.
Everywhere you go. The bottom of those pants got to be nasty as hell. Yeah, Short Mark and Tall Mark.
I remember that was a badge of honor to wear my wide leg jeans with not shorts, my wide leg jeans with sandals and walk on the back of the hem until like the hem would wear through.
Yeah.
That felt like a badge of honor.
That's impressive because you were a very average height. I used to do that all of the time, but with like every article of clothing, not intentionally long ones so you could step on it.
Pants are sold in different lengths. So I can be 5'10", but I can buy the pants of a 5'11" person.
Oh, that's right, because you actually do it by like the inches.
I mean, that's how it's labeled. I don't know if it's like if we went and bought a bunch of 32 pants, I bet they wouldn't all be the same size.
But yeah, in women's, you're lucky if you get the option of short or tall, or like, and then regular can just be anything it wants to be.
Was, oh God, I hate that phrase. I was today years old. I was like 29 or 28 when I learned.
That's not today.
I know, but I was, as I was saying it, I was like, this is going to sound like I was today years old. That women's inseam go from outside the hip down to the ankle, or to where they would fall, and men's go from the inside of the crotch. Because there was a woman I worked with. I'm only like a 33.
Yeah.
Because I have a very long torso.
Yeah.
And I don't wear my pants up around my midsection.
Well, and that's not fashionable right now.
Yeah.
To wear
And there was a
high-waisted.
woman I worked with that she was like a 38. And she how tall is Chris? Chris is 6'1".
Okay.
And she's like, how am I so much? And that's when I figured out it was the difference of on the out. And I could be you know what? Never fact check Kristen. She could have been full of shit, but it was like 37 or 38, and she was all leg, and I was like, yeah, we're the opposite. I am all torso. Yeah, how this relates to London.
What was the question?
I can't remember. We were talking about Jinkos for some reason. How did we get talking about Jinkos?
I don't know.
Jorts.
Jorts.
Who owns the
Weather.
trademark for Jorts? It's your fault.
Yeah, who does own the
Did you
trademark?
see all of Jinkos? I'm just kidding.
No, but we did see some fashion trends that we do think are coming this way. I've owned the vest with nothing under it, like women wearing just like not tank top, but like sleeveless vest,
Yeah.
but it's like all buttoned up and stuff, but there's no undershirt.
Okay.
So it's I've
God,
only
I
seen
feel
that once
gross
in the
asking
US.
this question. Bra?
Yes.
Bra? Okay. 'Cause
Mostly, I'm sure.
who knows? This is also Europe, so it could be just freewheeling in there. I don't know.
But it was just like they were wearing it like a tank top.
Yeah, it was real
Because
cute.
it's hot,
Interesting.
and they were wearing business casual stuff, and
Okay.
thought they looked great.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was
A lot
that
of
the
wide,
only trend?
lot of wide leg jeans,
Yeah.
wide leg pants, men and women, which is cool. I hope that is fashionable again here, because I definitely came to the skinny jeans era,
For sure.
Yeah.
but I love the wide leg fit. I love the 90s fit, like what I think of like the clothes that I was wearing in the 90s. I like that fit way better than the muscle fit, athletic fit, skinny fit era of clothing.
I embrace the skinny jeans as a larger dude because it makes me not look as like if I'm walking down the hallway, I don't look as massive
Gotcha.
because they're not as wide. But I've bought the latest pair of jeans I've had to buy. I'm sure I'll have to wear through these in 6 months and have to buy another. They are not the skinny. They are this next size. It's not regular, but it's
like slim or straight. Is usually
straight.
the
I
next
think
one.
it's straight. Damn it! I gotta put out there. I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit. Fashion. There was a TikTok or Instagram that was like European people talking about Americans, and there was like, here's how we can tell you you're an American. You wear sneakers, and you wear shorts. What was it? It seems like there was a third thing, but those were the two things stood out, and all the comments were Americans going, so we like to be comfortable?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
you all don't wear shorts? Like, what if it's hot?
There was... I didn't think to register if I saw a lot of shorts, because it was 70s and 80s, so it was a hot.
Yeah.
But I definitely registered a lot of pants, because I kept remarking of like, I love the wide leg pants.
Yeah.
Also, in London specifically, both places we went, there were a lot of tourists. So a lot of what we were seeing was just like a mixed bag of fashion from all over the world. So there's that too. So lots of shorts, but potentially those were Americans wearing the shorts. So
If everything goes to plan, I should be going to Scotland next spring.
Lovely.
I will be wearing shorts. I don't care if it's 40 degrees out there. I will be wearing shorts and sneakers.
well, they wear kilts when it's very cold. So
Like, yeah, give me a kilt. That's fine.
Would you wear a kilt?
Yeah, I'd wear something under the kilt. I can't
Sure.
go full Scottish.
Yeah.
That is kind of gross to me. Like, no offense to the Scottish people.
I think
Come at me, Scottish bros. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care.
I think it would be uncomfortable. Just being so accustomed to wearing, like, even if I wear a t-shirt, I wear an undershirt and always wear underwear. And like, I think any deviation of that, I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just because I've done it my whole life. I've always worn undershirts and underwear. And especially if I was wearing something like open at the bottom, I would probably be very self-conscious in that. Yeah. So shorts.
some of the nicest people in the
Skorts.
world are in Edinburgh. So enjoy if that is where you go in Scotland.
There's one guy, former guest that I've had on the podcast. He's in Edinburgh. And then a guy I've known for 21 years is in Glasgow, who is 6'6", bald, big beard, glasses. Gav.
Gav?
We're going to do
Is
like
that-
a boxing poster against one another.
I like it.
Fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs. Yeah.
Adam taught me that term.
Marcus of Queensberry style.
Yeah.
Up straight, fists out. Yes.
He's still. We met on a message board where I met Michael May, who I did the Southern Charm podcast, and all these people, Michelle, all these people across the world, Australia, wherever. Gab still calls me by my username. He does not call me Jody or Collins.
What's he call you?
So I'm going to give you Greg's first because it's kind of funny. Greg went by Quag. Question asking guy. Because you had to come up with a handle. No one had their name.
I was thinking like Quagmire.
Yeah.
What is a Quagmire? Like a mystery or a riddle or a
A
Fubar,
character
like that.
from Family,
Family
Guy.
Yes. Okay. Question asking guy.
And he actually ran into the artist that it was the message board for. And he went up, he's like, hey, man. And he was like, Greg? And he was like, no. He's like, question asking guy. And the guy went, Greg.
How about that?
Like, yeah, it was so funny.
How about that?
So mine went by Harvey the Puka.
You went by that.
Harvey the Puka.
You were Harvey the Puka.
Have you all ever seen the film Harvey?
Yes.
No.
Great movie with Jimmy Stewart.
Okay.
And it's about a man who sees a 6-foot-tall rabbit
Oh,
called Harvey the Puka.
I can see the artwork for
Yeah,
it.
a
in my
puka
head.
is an imaginary animal friend.
Oh.
But at the end, when it's giving the credits, like Jimmy Stewart is Elwood P. Dowd. You know, it's going through, and then it ends with just a blank screen, and it says, and introducing Harvey the Puka.
Harvey the
And I was
Puka.
like, that just stuck with me. So Gav will be like, "Hey, Puka, you coming over here to Scotland?"
Okay.
I was like, "This may be interesting." Yeah.
Okay.
Also, in case anyone is really on the edge of their seat about what a quagmire is, it is a soft, boggy area of land that gives way underfoot.
Oh.
I always thought it was like you've messed up, you're in a quagmire, but I guess
I
it's
mean-
derivative of that.
Could, yeah, that could work.
Interesting.
I wouldn't like to be in that scenario,
I
I
know.
don't think.
Nope.
So,
Sounds like the pit of despair from Princess Bride.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked Harvey the Puka better in its more modern rendition, Donnie Darko.
So, okay, here we go. We're going to go down this.
Rabbit hole.
Eh.
Nice.
Again, thanks for coming, guys. We're just setting up to all these ends.
Nice.
Like, when I started working at the paper with the Todd, he didn't take in any media, any movies, any music that wasn't 20 plus years old.
Okay.
Even though he is my age. So he had never seen Donnie Darko. I was like, dude, it's great. I was like, let me watch it before I gave it to him. I watched it and I gave it to him. This is 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, God, this movie is terrible. It was just a whiny brat of a film. And I haven't watched it in forever since then. Maybe it's good. He actually brought it back. He's like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's weird.
It made me think of Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck?
I've never seen Donnie Darko, but when you said that just now, I was like, Darkwing Duck.
Duck hole.
Yeah, duck hole. Not a rabbit hole, a duck hole.
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woo.
Who owns duck holes?
Duck in, waddle out.
I would be curious what you would think of Donnie Darko. It is a weird ass
No,
movie.
it's not. It's not made for children. It has conflict in it. There's bright lights.
I like happy things.
Nobody makes a quiche in it. She'd hate it.
Okay,
My
here,
movies don't require quiche, but I do like happy things. That is true.
kind of happy. A sleeper. We're gonna go down this. A sleeper film for me in the past 10 years or so. Hell, it may have come out more than 10 years ago. The Intern with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro.
Oh, I never saw it.
Very good movie.
Okay.
Very good movie. And I am not an Anne Hathaway fan, and that is a really good movie.
Hmm.
And another big fan of that film, Mark Maron. He's like, I'm not kidding. There's something about this movie. It's Nancy Myers who did a lot of those, like Something's Got to Give, I can't remember her name, from Godfather and the Woody Allen films. Diane Keaton.
Oh,
Like
okay.
those films.
Yeah.
I think it's Nancy Myers. It's really good. It's
Okay.
really good.
The Intern.
Yeah. It's got some sad stuff, but it's a very warm film. That's the best way to put it. And for you, it's got the three guys from Workaholics.
Oh, all three of them?
I'm pretty sure.
Adam
I know it. I know
Devine?
for sure two of them. I know for sure Durs and Adam. It's the redheaded guy. I can't remember if he's in it or not.
That's cool.
What
I
is
like
his
that.
name?
I don't remember.
And Durs plays a real dickhole.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being in his range.
And Adam Devine wasn't full on like as amped up as he was on that show. And it's one of those, like, if you get Jack Black and he's not full Jack Black,
Yes.
where it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like, I can't take the
The shtick. Yeah.
Okay. So, you go over there. Did you stay about the same amount of time in each city?
Yeah, we did 5 days in London and 4 in Amsterdam.
Okay. And was there, let's see, did you plan your itinerary in advance, or did you kind of explore, God, I'm not going to say that right, spontaneously? I wanted to say, like, make it supercalifragilistic, spontaneously.
That way. So let me back up real quick and say we tried for the first time ever Costco travel. Would recommend. They booked all the main stuff, like the hotel, the flight, the train between cities, the transportation to and from the airport. They booked all those things for us, and then we just got to do the fun stuff. So most of the things we had planned beforehand. Like if it required tickets, obviously we had to think in advance and go ahead and get those. And then we had some ideas of what we wanted to do, but then like we weren't opposed to like if something comes along like, oh, how about this? Or like, oh, we're right here, and we didn't realize. So yeah.
Okay.
But like mostly planned.
Because there are 4 of you in this, so it's are you all very different? And like some people wanted to wing it a little bit more, and some people were like, no, we need to do this.
Yes, I'm more rigid. Shocking. Adam's more flexible and more like, we'll figure it out. So I will say, like, we didn't like plan every meal or anything like that until the day of. So I felt like that was a little less structured.
Were you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm looking at Adam because he's been very quiet.
Yeah, it's Amy and Rachel like to plan.
Okay.
So there was an agenda for every day, and we followed the agenda. And
Okay.
I don't think anything got left off the agenda. I think everything on the agenda got checked off.
I think so. There was one Harry Potter place that Rachel wanted to see that she didn't get to see, but other than that. So my sister and I did a Harry Potter tour, like a walking tour around London. That was really fun because we're big fans.
Okay, this is not on my questions. Is there a lot of... I'm going to ask a very stupid question. Is there a lot of tourism around Harry Potter? I've got to assume there is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole, like, we did not go to the Warner Brothers studio that's over there, but you can book, like, a day to go to, like,
you could do that.
The Harry Potter studio. Again, we did not do that. We just did the 2-hour walking tour, but everything from the films was filmed somewhere in the UK because that was actually, this is what we learned on the tour, that was part of the agreement with J.K. Rowling, is that it had to be British actors, it had to be filmed in and around the UK, and so so there are lots of areas. There were a few in London, but there's definitely ones in other cities and other boroughs and stuff like that too.
I just got to, imagine that since that has happened, that there's a lot of, here is this, because didn't she write those, although I hate talking about her, but didn't she write those in like a coffee shop? Isn't there something real famous around?
The very first one actually in Edinburgh. She wrote most of the first Harry Potter in a coffee shop in Edinburgh. Okay. So the first time, this was my second time going to England. The first time I went to England, I studied for a semester in Cambridge, England. So I was there for about 3 months, but I'd only been to London for 3 days. And then it was also early thousands. So Harry Potter was popular, but like the series hadn't even finished yet. So... and I was with a group of like 20-something people, so I did not get to do all the Harry Pottering that I had wanted to do originally. So,
when I hate to say it, you've got adult money now to do the Harry Potter stuff as opposed to 20-something-year-old money.
Yes, that is very true.
It does matter.
It does. It makes a big difference.
I was looking up because when you said Warner Brothers, I was thinking of Pinewood Studios, which that's where Stanley Kubrick. So there's my film nerddom. I was like, can we go to Pinewood and see where 2001 Space Odyssey.
Would you have is that the soundtrack for it?
It's the laser disc.
What? You have a laser?
I was at no, I do not. But I was at the punk rock flea market.
Yeah.
So I've been buying up VHS tapes, and there were people selling laser discs for like $3 a piece. I was like, man, I kind of love the like artwork and all that up, like taking something like that and maybe like framing it or something. I think would be cool. I was like, so I was kind of poking through, and I hit a point. I was like, I will spend a lot of money on this if I don't walk away right now. So I'll buy one, and I'll think about this for later.
Right on.
Yeah.
I had a streak of birthdays where my parents would buy me things under the guise of like, happy birthday, Adam, but it was actually things that they wanted for themselves.
Cool.
And there was one birthday where they bought me V8. I'm, like 5. wife.
Yeah.
And they bought me 2001: A Space Odyssey and Citizen Kane.
Jeez.
And I'm trying to be a polite child and be like, oh, thank you so much. And then I take the things I want to play with and I leave the VHS tapes where they are. And my parents were pretty quickly like, hey, would you mind if we watched one of your birthday presents? Like,
Adam's family was awesome.
Well, we'll say there is also, because my family movies were a big thing. There were
Yes.
times where my mom would buy for like Easter or Valentine's Day when I was into my 20s, because I have
Yeah.
a sister who's 11 and a half years younger than me.
yes.
She would still make me an Easter basket. She would still get me Valentine's Day.
That's
gift,
nice.
even when I was in my 20s. And she sometimes would get me movies. She'd be like, now, honey, I want to see that when you get it.
Yeah.
But she was always nailed it. Like, I think one of them was Training Day. Like, my mom was a proper, like, film nerd
She
person.
liked the Denzel. Okay.
Yeah, well.
Who doesn't like
Hey,
Denzel?
Ethan Hawke, attractive? No.
Yeah.
I need to look him up.
Oh, my
think-
buddy that I just
you think
went and
Ethan
hung out
Hawke-
with in Atlanta, him
Yeah.
and his daughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I never got
there
the-
were a lot of women of my age that Reality Bites, Dead Poet Society,
Before the Devil Knows You're
Hamlet.
Dead. Remember that one?
the what?
Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Is that
That's
you?
later. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the movies when
Okay.
I would have been in like middle school and high school, that he was the heartthrob.
Gotcha. Yeah, to me it was. I just never saw. It was like, why are girls going crazy for that guy?
Dude,
I just don't get it.
Dude.
I'm not saying he's certainly not ugly. Certainly not saying I look better than Ethan Hawke, but I just didn't see why my peers.
I think you
were-
do.
Well, thanks.
one that I'll give you is there's a trilogy of films: Before
Yes.
Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's him and Julia Delpy, and it's God. I'm gonna blank on his name. The guy who did Dazed and Confused, Richard Linklater,
okay, yeah.
who wrote and directed it, and it's them. American tourist. You all might like this. American tourist, French woman. They get on a train. They're about the same age, and they strike up a conversation.
Yep.
And I think he talks her into staying on the train. And it's a romance film.
Okay.
Trust me, there are a lot of women that saw that film.
Okay.
It's like he's charming.
Okay.
He's handsome in a ruggedly way.
Gotcha. And I certainly wouldn't argue. Like I wouldn't make an issue out of it. It just felt like like I wonder if I can slide this in here and get a consensus that I don't think he's that cute.
He's no Paul
agree.
Giamatti. I mean, come on.
Hey, that accent is top
Accent?
notch.
I don't
Paul
know any of
Giamatti?
these people.
You don't think Paul Giamatti has an accent?
No, he's American.
American people have accents, Jody.
Hell no, we don't.
Have you ever heard me speak?
Paul.
You don't know Paul Giamatti? Sideways. He was just
Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man.
Oh, that guy.
Dude, that movie, The Holdovers, last year, that was the best film I saw
I
last year.
didn't see that one.
He had a comeback to a guy that I will tell you, and I will apologize to Amy. I will not apologize to Adam because he won't like this. He is very mean in this film. And there's a point in this film where he's putting down somebody. He goes, I'm going to say, Edward. Edward, you have always been and will always be penis cancer. And in the theater, I could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
It was just how dry and droll he said it.
What was the question about him? Was it that was he attractive?
I was making a joke.
No.
Oh, okay. Because
Sorry,
I was
Paul
like,
Giamatti. I love Paul Giamatti.
I was saying that I love Paul Giamatti's accent.
And he was like, he didn't understand why Ethan Hawke is attractive. I was like, well, he's no Paul Giamatti.
Got it.
And then I transitioned as if to imply that Paul Giamatti's accent makes him attractive to me.
Yeah.
And then Jody's like, oh, he doesn't have accent. But if you heard him speak, you would understand the
Well, he has
hilarity
a
of that.
distinctive voice.
Diction.
Accent.
Yeah.
Accent.
Accent is what I would call that.
Speaking of accents.
Yes.
Yes.
So did you all notice when you were over there, did your southernness come out more being around foreigner. I hate to say foreigners because I think it's hilarious.
We were the foreigners, Jody.
And foreigners.
Yeah.
Like, did you have people comment on it more? You said you were around more touristy areas.
Comment in terms of people asking us, "Are you from the States?"
Or where are you from in the States?
that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing where it felt like anybody was mocking or couldn't understand us, or there was a barrier of communication. It was just like, "Hello, checking in," and they're like, "Oh yeah, where have you flown in from?" Because you can tell, like,
you too.
I'm not from here.
I can't hear southern accents with y'all.
That's
No,
fun. That's fun to hear.
Yeah.
Because there's some people, I will explain. There's a person in my life who says I do not have an accent.
Yeah.
And in my own head, I do not have an accent. But then there have definitely been times in my life where someone has been walking past me, heard me speak, stop, back up, and be like, "Where are you from?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will. So for me, one, people accuse me of not being from the South because of my accent, even though I've been born and not born, but raised here. Both my parents have a stronger Southern accent than me or my sister do. It's a very interesting dynamic. But I think you have a great accent, Adam, because like it is Southern for sure, but you still have good grammar.
Thanks.
And I think that's the distinctive factor for me when I'm judging someone for their Southern accent. Is
what
your
you
grammar
talking
still
about?
good?
Sorry. What you be talking about?
Like that.
I can't hear my accent until I get like tired and get a little
Yeah.
like lazy with it.
Yeah.
But
I think an accent will almost always come out more when somebody's tired.
yeah.
Because
Tard.
Hard.
I don't feel no ways.
But I have been in like New York or something. Somebody's like, "Oh my God, like hell." When Donovan and I were just in Boston, this came up with a waitress.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. I can't even do it. But I was talking and I was like, "Yeah, she's making fun of me," and I felt like this entire time here I should just walk around and be like, "Hey, y'all got any of them there plastic folks around here?" And the woman looked at me and said, "I can't tell the difference between the two."
Oh.
How dare you?
Oh.
And Aaron about hugged that woman.
Oh.
Aaron loved it. But
Do you remember the comedian John Reap?
oh yeah,
He had, I don't think it was a punchline. It might have just been a throwaway line in an interview he did, potentially. He's from North Carolina, and that was a reoccurring Hickory.
Hickory.
I'm from Hickory.
Yeah.
And he talked about when his career was ascending because he did Last Comic Standing. I think he won.
He was in the Dodge commercials when it was like, "That's a Hemi."
Yeah.
Oh.
He was the guy that
Yeah.
said that line. And he talked about going to auditions in LA and people hearing that this is actually his speaking voice. And his line that stuck with me is something similar to, and I can tell all those people are just sitting around waiting for me to say something like, "Hey, what are shoes for?"
Oh God, that's great.
What are
I'm going to try to remember that.
I'm from Hickory. Yeah, he had a whole bit that would end in him getting very tough and indignant about, "I'm from Hickory."
He's a funny dude.
He was pretty good.
Yeah,
he was.
I've
pretty
heard him
good.
on podcasts and stuff, and he seems like he is actually a nice guy and a funny dude.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely enjoyed hearing British accents while we were over there. I listened to a lot of audiobooks and things like that.
Yeah.
One I'm listening to right now is a British author. The one I just finished was a British author. And so I'm really used to hearing
Yeah.
British accents, but it's just fun to like be in a culture where it's surrounding you.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was really, I don't know. The different way of speaking is just really fun to me, but it's also super easy to navigate because there's different slang and different things like that. And some food items are called something different there than here, but at the same time, like, it's really easy to navigate. You can get around and, like, you don't get
You tried to
lost.
use slang once and it didn't work.
Oh, what did I do?
Amy wanted a soda water,
Oh,
and Amy had
fizzy water.
you had it in your memory that you could say bubbles, and goes to the bartender's like, "Could I have a bubbles with lime?" They're like, "A what?
Bubbly-
A what?"
I think it would
I
have
don't
been
think
hilarious.
I asked for a
I think
bubbles
you said
with
bubble.
lime.
You said it was at the Sherlock Holmes
But like
bar.
bubbly water is
Yeah.
a thing there.
I think it would have been funny if the punchline of that would have been, and the bartender was from Alabama. And it's just like, what the hell are you talking
And then he
about?
put his lips in my drink. Went
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Took a straw. Did you do that with chocolate milk when you were a little kid? Like
course.
take your straw.
Yeah,
and
of course. We did a double decker bus tour, and it had a guide that talked the whole time from no script. So he had memorized his landmarks, and I liked how he used the word "yeah." He used the word "yeah" the way somebody might say, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. That place is where this scene in Harry Potter was filmed, and then his tone would, the bass in his voice would drop a little bit, and he'd go, yeah. Sort of nod and look
Yeah.
for approval from everybody. Like that may not be a geographic thing, that may just be a him thing. I found that a very charming way
Okay.
of speaking. Just go, yeah.
We'll go back a little bit. Your sister's partner, where is he from? Is he from the Northeast? Is he from...
Ohio.
Oh, God.
But he's a Michigan
He's a
fan.
big Michigan fan. So
Huge.
he's,
They still
Michigan
both suck. But
So
yeah, sorry.
he gets
Go on.
rejected from Ohio just because of his Michigan fandom.
and he also seems to be very proud that he now lives in Chicago.
Yes.
Okay.
They both consider themselves to be Chicago people now,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
But he's
That's good.
from because he and I talked about this. He's from near a place called Lima, Ohio.
Yeah.
Which there's a pro wrestler who is from Lima, Ohio, and would bill himself as from Lima, Ohio, which is not a place you would hear a lot of pro wrestlers proclaim their hometown to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Shout out Al Snow.
there you go. You know what else is based in Lima, Ohio?
What?
The TV show Glee,
Really?
which is why I know Lima, Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a famous football player also from Lima, Ohio, like from back in the day.
Can't think of it at the
Yeah.
moment. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's,
I knew that because I think I called it Lima at one point.
I mean, it
Yeah.
looks like Lima.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you and your sister go off and do Harry Potter things.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you and the partner, they're like, we're just going to drink beer for the rest of the
We did our own thing. We didn't see each other.
Okay.
David and I, we didn't see each other until dinner time. Because David is similar to me in that he likes alone time and recharges himself by being alone.
Okay.
So he and I have a pretty flawless, unspoken thing of like, if there's not something on the agenda that we're meant to do as the four of us, he knows he will do his own thing and I will do my own thing, and we don't need to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with you all, are there things that the four of you all wanted to do together in particular? Like, did the Sherlock Holmes thing intrigue all of you? Like, was there anything that kind of drew you all together? Or was there anything that, like, you, Adam, were like, I want to do this, and the three other people were like, I'm out. It's like this. It's like the British
Yes.
Bulldog. It's from Ray.
Yes. But we'll focus on the positive, and
Oh, okay.
I won't be a whiny baby.
Okay.
The thing that I didn't know what we were doing until we were like doing it,
Okay.
because I don't ask and I just trust that there's something to do. The thing that at the
I'm
end,
just laughing at the Savannah trip where I would just go, all right, we're leaving. Let's go.
yeah, I'm just like, okay,
Just follow me.
sure, yeah.
Where we go.
That-
Don't worry about it.
That's my preferred way to travel. It's just like if somebody really wants to call the shots, okay. And then if I don't want to, I'll just try to quietly be like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But the things that we did all together that at the end seemed like it was a unanimous, so glad we did that in London, was definitely went to the Globe Theater to see Much Ado About Nothing. That was super cool. Mm-hmm. And then before we went to the Globe, there's a bar called the Anchor that one of its most notable things is that's where Shakespeare would drink, which is just wild. Okay, brief aside. Mm-hmm. Really puts into perspective how young the United States is.
Yes.
When there's a business that exists in the United States for 20 years, we think like, what an incredible run. Mm-hmm. But in these older countries, like the bar where Shakespeare would hang out is still up and running, kind of thing.
That bar, the particular bar, the Anchor, has existed for over 800 years.
Yeah, it's unreal. Okay. And of course, very modernized and lots of revamping, but it's the same business. Like it's so like that was really cool to go. We had like some drinks and meat pies and fish and chips and sticky toffee pudding at the bar, and then you walk. What was it, like a city block or pretty short,
not far,
to the Globe Theater, and it's a rebuilt version of the Globe Theater because the original one burned down.
Yes,
I believe Amy
in
Rachel
the 1600s it burned down. I believe, and then it got rebuilt in the 1990s. So
really?
Yeah, and it's not on the exact same spot, but it's very close to the original spot where the Globe Theater was. So.
Was it very? To go to the Globe, did you have to get dressed up? Was it like a formal place? No. Did they have like multiple shows a day or? Because you got to think with like tourists, I would think that like you would kind of not churn and burn, but you kind of, sorry, inappropriate thing to say if a place that burned down. Yeah. But I'm just like, you want to work through people. So.
Yeah, you would. I don't know, but you would think it's outdoors.
Oh.
So it's like open top, like a football stadium kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe in the, I don't know. I would think they would do multiple shows. Maybe in the summer they take it more easy in like the heat of the day, but I don't know.
Considering I'm the one that is the rigid planner, I bought the tickets. So there was Much Ado About Nothing, and then there was like a tragedy as well. Not one of the Henrys. What was it? I don't know. But I picked the comedy for us to go to because I thought that would be more fun, and it was great. And so when I had been into London before, I had toured the Globe Theater, but I didn't actually see a play there.
Okay.
And it's really cool because from what I remember of the tour many years ago now, so someone who's a Shakespeare aficionado may correct me, and that's fine. But in Shakespeare's day, he was not highly regarded as he is now, because theater was for the posh, theater was for the really, really rich and things like that. And so it wasn't for the common person, but Shakespeare made theater for anybody, and he made theater for the common person. And even to this day at the Globe Theater, you can buy the quote unquote cheap seats, which aren't seats at all. It's standing room only down in the floor, like open air standing room. They're really inexpensive. It's less than $10 for those particular seats. We, again, both turning 40 within the year, so we opted for the benches and even purchased a cushion to go on the seats for $3 extra pounds. But it was really cool to look down and see like the characters interacted with the audience and things like that. And it was just really cool to see how like this is what it was meant to be. Yeah. This is how Shakespeare wanted it, and that's how it still is. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great.
Do you all know about any of the conspiracy theories about Shakespeare?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that it was actually like a royal person, that Shakespeare wasn't real. It was actually, or it was just some guy and some royal person. It was seen as too lowly to be a writer. So he passed along there. It was a woman. It was many people.
Yeah. No, I never heard that.
Oddly enough, the person who knows a lot about this is Michael Chiklis, the actor.
Oh, from The Shield.
From The Shield and The Commish. He is like a scholar. I heard him on like Kevin Pollak's chat show, and he talked about for like 30 minutes on about like the history of Shakespeare. There's a film made that I don't think is very good called Anonymous by the guy who made Independence Day and Roland Emmerich.
Okay.
10 years ago or so. But it's all about like the weird thing about Shakespeare. Like,
Never heard that.
yeah.
That sounds like a fun conspiracy theory to read through and just take it as entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that now, because of seeing that in the environment we saw it, Much Ado About Nothing is my favorite Shakespeare play now. And also, I learned quite a while ago that I have to read through what in the world happens in each act before I see it so that I can keep up with Shakespeare, because I'm like, what is going on? So doing that, plus it being a comedy, there was a lot more slapstick. The actors were phenomenal, weren't they, Adam? Like
They were very good.
Yeah. They were, again, the way they played off the crowd and like even poked fun at people in the crowd. Like, it was just great. It was great.
There was a scene where a woman was talking about her ideal man, and that, well, if he had a beard, it was almost like too rugged and too scruffy, but if he doesn't have a beard, and then she singles out this guy who's maybe just like 2 rows back, who doesn't have a beard, and she's like, but if he doesn't have a beard, well, you know, and like gestures at him. It's like, dang, like that's a pretty good roast.
He's in the roast zone.
Yes.
Yeah. And he seemed like he was a very good sport about it, which you would need to be. And like, but yeah, that was very unexpected. I thought it would be much more highbrow and proper, but no, it was for everybody. They were playing to the people in the back row, which was us, and they were playing to the people in the pit, not the pit, but like the GA section.
How many people you think fit in there? I mean, was it like Tennessee Theater, like 1,800, or was it even smaller in the Bijou, like 200?
I think we can find out pretty quick. I think it's bigger than the Bijou.
How many people can fit in the Globe Theater in London, England?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's
fact checking.
3,000.
Really?
About 1,000 can stand. There were not that many people.
Okay, yeah, so
that is pretty big.
But if I had to guess now with that information, I would say there were 1,000 people there.
Okay.
They just do the elevation of the seats are so high. It almost feels like you're sitting on the shoulders of the people in front of you. And I think that might throw my perspective off.
I think of that because I've seen photos, and that's why I was like, "Oh, it's like 300 people."
Yeah,
it's 3 levels tall. So we were on the top of the 3rd level. So I guess, and we couldn't like see all the people down below us. So maybe that's why I was like, it wasn't that many people. And I was like, oh, well, maybe it was more than I thought.
Looking at these photos, I swear it does not look like it's that.
But I guess
I would have never guessed that many.
But I guess if you think you can fit shoulder to shoulder down there in the standing room, that's a couple hundred, maybe?
And I think I also thought it was in the round more than an actual stage.
Yeah. Oh, and they didn't use, or best I could tell, they didn't use any amplifiers, no microphones,
That's
no
awesome.
boom mics, no nothing. Which I guess lends to the strategy of the shape of it.
Yeah.
That like noise travels that way. So like that was cool to see something so pure, like without technology.
Yeah.
There were lighting rigs, definitely, but that might have been the only major technology that I remember seeing there.
Again, like, it was just really cool to be like, this is, I mean, not exactly where it happened, but like, this is where it happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is the original. And so it was really cool for it to be that, I guess, close to the original.
Yeah.
They had a very cool giveaway item for one section of the theater. For the evening show is going to get sunlight.
Yes.
So automatically, if you're in this section, the attendees will come and they hand out these. From a distance, it just looked like cardboard square. And then I saw, it has a little handle so you can fan yourself. Or the center was cut out in a way that if you put it over your head, it was a cap.
Really?
Yeah. Cool merch idea.
Yeah.
So you could just throw it away because you don't want to reuse them if it's in like people's heads. So you can probably buy them in bulk by the tens of thousands. They had a little logo and probably like a QR code on there.
Yeah.
Here, find out about more shows. And I think everybody was using them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't one of those like giveaway items you see, you just discard it immediately because a lot of people weren't wearing caps and they're in direct sunlight for 45 minutes at least. And yeah, super clever idea.
That's the other thing I've heard about. No, not a lot of air conditioning over there.
Definitely didn't feel like ours does.
Yeah.
But I never felt miserable.
No, because it wasn't miserable over there either. Yeah. So I will say, most people are like, oh, London, rainy, cloudy.
Yeah.
Every day that we were there, it was at least 75 degrees and it was sunny every single day. And a guy told us it had been 316 days since they'd had beautiful weather like that. And it was that way all 5 days we were there.
You're like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We brought it with us.
And when we went to Amsterdam, it was the same. The weather was perfection as much as it could be.
I say that about the air conditioning. I think it's more of a southern thing. Because I've been out in Denver and stuff and been like, what do you mean you don't have air conditioning? like you're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah.
I've also seen that the mean high temperature in the height of the summer in Scotland is 73. And it is going to be really hard for me to get on a plane and come home.
Yes.
Yeah, that does sound very pleasant.
Yeah. I think it was 90 and sunny every day here that we were over there.
Yeah,
so
it's very
I didn't
hot.
miss that.
Nope.
Come back to brown grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shakespeare's Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of touched a little bit on Harry Potter, Sherlock Holmes, Harry Potter. So what all was entailed with you all traveling around checking that out?
So they just took us to different places. Well, first of all, you all drew from the sorting hat to see what house you were in. And then you did quiz, like trivia along the way, and your house got points for it. So it was super, super fun. And
Adam's going to try to not catch his butt on fire.
yeah, there's a candle, folks, if you're wondering how he's not catching
It's
his
only
butt
one
on fire.
flame, man. It's fine.
Yeah. And so it was a walking tour, and they just took us to different areas where things had been filmed. And so the guy even would pull up his iPad and like show the scene from a film and be like, yeah, and it's that window up there that they're filming from, and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
And so yeah, it was really cool. And then we got some other historical facts along the way. For example, we walked past the school that Daniel Radcliffe actually attended while he was filming Harry Potter, and we learned that he got bullied while he was there, and they threw him up on the roof with a broom and locked him out of the building and told him to fly down because he's like real famous, but then also just this dude that you go to class with, and there's probably a lot of jealousy going on and all of this sort of thing. So anyway, but then one of the things, and Adam actually posted it recently on his Instagram, one of kind of like the art things that we saw is it Order of the Phoenix? No, it's in Half-Blood Prince, I believe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Millennium Bridge is a walking bridge across the Thames in London. And in one of the Harry Potters, that bridge gets wrecked by, the Death Eaters, the bad guys. And there's a fun story behind that we learned because... Number one, Millennium Bridge was made for the year 2000, and it's the first just footbridge, potentially. I maybe strike that.
Interesting.
Anyway, over the Thames. So, but it's like really metallic and like angly and stuff. And so it, was built for the millennium. But when it first opened, they're talking about like the resonance of a bridge. You know, it has kind of like a certain wobble to it or whatever. And when people were walking over it, the resonance that it had was the same as the steps people were taking. And so they actually named it Wobbly Bridge because it was so shaky. They had to shut that thing down for 2 years to readjust
Holy
it.
crap.
And so Londoners apparently kind of hate that bridge. So in the theater, when people were watching this Harry Potter movie for the first time and the Death Eaters destroy Millennium Bridge, they actually cheered. Like the whole theater cheered for it. But on Millennium Bridge, one of the coolest things that I was talking about that Adam really recently posted a picture of on his Instagram was they have really strict rules about graffiti there.
Okay.
And so there is one artist, Ben Wilson, Ben something or other, Webster Wilson, Ben W. Is an artist over there, and he is kind of a graffiti artist, but since he could not graffiti this bridge because of legal whatnot, what he does is where people have like smashed their gum into the bridge and it's like now it's like brown and stuff and it doesn't even look like gum anymore. He paints the gum on the bridge.
Huh.
And so, like, if you walk over Millennium Bridge, look down because you will see all these tiny little artworks that's painted on smashed gum. Like, it's really unusual. So, like, these are the things that we learned on the tour that was outside of just, like, the realm of Harry Potter in general. But then they pointed, like, oh, there's St. Paul's Cathedral. In that is the stairwell to the divination tower, and so like in the films that's where they filmed it and all of this sort of thing. It is also the same place that in Mary Poppins the lady sings feed the birds tuppence a bag outside of St. Paul's Cathedral. So, you know, just learning little trivia facts and stuff along the way, not just related to Harry Potter but mostly so.
I know nothing about Harry Potter.
That's okay.
I watched the first 2 movies. That's as far as I got.
They get better.
The
third one, the CGI is like, ugh.
It's not for me. It's just not for me. I got plenty of movies to watch. I got plenty of TV to watch. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Have you watched all of the films, Adam?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a good sport.
Yeah, he is. So it was a stipulation of our marriage that he watched all the Harry Potters and I watched all the Rockies except Rocky V because Adam said that one doesn't count.
Because Rocky V is the Harry Potter of the Rocky series.
How dare you? So anyway.
I approve of
but
that.
Yes,
how dare you?
So he watched.
That was awarded.
So he watched all the Harry Potters and I watched all the Rockies. I enjoyed the Rocky movies.
They're great.
They're classics.
They're really good.
Masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
I had my buddy, the aforementioned Michael May, his After Lunch podcast. They do rewatches of entire film series. But some of it's like every 2 months they watch a Bond film and they talk about it. Every month they're going to do the Fast and the Furious films leading up to the next one.
Okay.
And there was one point where he's like, we want to do the Rocky. I was like, if you do the Rocky ones, you have to have me on because I'm obsessed with those films.
There it is.
And I don't think you all give them the respect they deserve. I was kind of going off on him. I may have scared him a little bit, but I was like,
scared him into compliance. I hope.
Yeah, damn right. I will say, Daniel Radcliffe. I almost said Daniel Potter. Just happened to read on TikTok today 2 positive stories. He is apparently the nicest dude in the world.
I've heard that.
And
won a Tony Award recently.
Really?
Yeah. For Merrily We Roll Along. Merrily We Roll Along. Yeah. I don't know.
Apparently he's the nicest guy. I've seen a lot of his post-Potter work, like Swiss, but weird films, like Swiss Army Man. Do you know about Swiss Army Man?
The dead body?
Yes. He plays a dead body that farts.
Okay.
And has he's very happy.
Okay.
And it's from the guys who did Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, the Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was their first film. And it is a very weird and uncomfortable film. But it is
Happy Dead Body would be.
Yeah, Paul Dano. It's really.
It's the sequel to Castaway.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Like Oh, stop it!
Sorry,
Got
I
him.
can't go with you on that.
Got him.
Wilson. I can't go along with you on that.
That's what made me
like,
think of those. Jody's prop Wilson here in the living room. Yeah. Yeah, Tom Hanks goes back to the island.
And he finds a dead body that
Yeah.
farts and is very happy.
Happy Dead Body. I don't even
You're
know
good.
what that
You're good.
means. Yeah.
So one of the stories I read was his girlfriend and he were going to some red carpet, so they went into this
Radcliffe?
Radcliffe.
Okay.
Sorry, and him and her, they were getting her a dress, and something was said, and somehow Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg came up. And they're like, oh, that film with them. And they're like, oh, you mean Now You See Me, Now You Don't? And the woman went, no, not that piece of crap. It was Zombieland. And then at the end, Daniel Radcliffe said, hey, now that we're friends, I just signed on to be in Now That You See Me Part 2.
Nice.
It was just like, he was like, but she was like, oh, we're friends. Like, she was like, could not have been a nicer dude. And like she bumped into him at like the grocery store like 2 weeks later, and he remembered her.
How
And I
can he even go to the grocery store? Like, how can he be a normal human being?
There's a funny story. Have you ever watched the Graham Norton show?
No.
It's the best. It's a talk show, a chat show from the UK. This guy, Graham Norton. And usually, have you ever seen the Graham Norton show?
Clips.
And he'll have like 4 or 5 people on. Well, he had him on once when he was living in New York doing a Broadway play, and said it was cold outside, so he had the beanie on and everything, and he's sitting there holding his dog, and he's sitting there waiting on his girlfriend to come down. And he's sitting there drinking a cup of coffee. He sees this guy walk by, and he kind of does that, and he walks back up to him, and he's like, oh, hell, he's gonna know who I am. And the guy put $1 in his coffee cup and said, "Sort yourself out, man." Like, and he was like, the dog looked kind of scruffy, but I was wearing nice clothes. Like, it was just so funny. He was like, I thought, oh God, here's another fan. Yeah, sort yourself out, man.
We all need to be humbled every
Yeah.
now and then.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is her name? Miriam Margolis. She's in the movies. Short, heavier set woman with curly hair.
Sprout? Oh, is it Dolores Umbridge? Is it the
Miss Umbridge.
Is she the one that's in The Crown now?
Maybe.
Because that's who. Yeah. Anyway.
So Miriam Margolis is her real name. She is funny as hell.
Oh.
But she is ruthless.
Okay.
Because there was a time on Graham Norton where he was on there with her, and she was like, oh, I think you were doing better because, your balls had finally dropped. And he was like, Miriam.
That's so funny. Also, I must correct myself. That is not Dolores Umbridge.
Okay.
That is Professor Sprout.
Professor
I do
Sprout.
believe.
But like she had a house. I know we're going all over the place. I'm a little tired. So this
Rambling
is
man.
A little rambly. She had a house like somewhere in the country or close in France. And it turns out it had been a drug drop. And there were literally tons of cocaine. And they're like,
Whoa.
so is that your cocaine? She was like,
Whoa.
no, I've been renting that out. Like, she's hilarious. But she is filthy beyond belief. Like, she made... Matthew Perry was on that show once, and she made him so uncomfortable with something she said. It's the best. But it's funny because I know she's in this kid's film.
Yeah.
And then you see her on Graham Norton, and she's saying the most filthy, foul shit ever, and it's great. It's the best. I love her. She's great.
If we can just real quick return to that famous football player from Lima,
Yeah.
Ohio. I looked that up.
Yep.
It ties in because his nickname, Big Ben Roethlisberger.
That's who's from Lima.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Got it.
I think there's a chance that Ed O'Neill is also, because he's from Ohio,
Is he?
but he may be from like Parma or somewhere like that. Somewhere from the Drew Carey Show theme song. Sherlock Holmes. So what was the Sherlock Holmes thing you did?
It was just a pub.
Okay.
The Sherlock Holmes pub.
Okay.
It's near Trafalgar Square, I think.
That had a small display of collectibles from the author who wrote Sherlock Holmes, whose name...
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There's an entire section of Sherlock Holmes stuff up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would-
Is it...
Actually, it's not up there. It's holding up the bookcase at the bottom because the records are so damn heavy. It's behind that mirror.
a prized possession.
Yeah.
I think that's where I, in your memory, asked for the bubble water.
Yes. Yes. that was
But
it.
very good food,
Okay.
I will say. I had the steak and ale pie there, and he had the fish and chips.
What was the food scene like?
You know, it was honestly better than I remember, because I remember in England before, everything was just a little bland, but we had really good food the whole time we were there. The one that we did the very last night, the kind of like create your own mash, it was like you picked the type of potato you wanted, you picked the pie you wanted, you picked the gravy you wanted, and then they just put it all together, and it was really good. It was a beautiful
Was there any restaurant or bar that stood out? Or it
The
was just all...
the mash place was probably my favorite one.
so good.
Just like because I love mashed potatoes and just like a big hearty entree of sausage and mashed potatoes and gravy was super good. Do we have any?
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist was a bar, but they also had an extensive dessert menu that was very good. We had this s'mores brownie, but I was a little let down when I found out they're a chain. So hey, good for their success. But it just felt like, I thought it was like this little neighborhood place, and there's like, I don't know, 8 of them or something like that.
The place we went the first night, Indian food, Dishoom, I think was the name of it. My sister really wanted to go there because the chef was on Top Chef, I think. She's a big fan of Top Chef. It was delicious. It was so, so good. I can't even remember what all we got, but we got lots of things and shared them. And yeah, I mean, everything was
I know
on
Indian
point.
food is a massive thing in the UK.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was there before, I equated it to Mexican food here. Just kind of like there's one on every corner sort of thing. And like it, but thinking of it like proximity wise, there's a lot of people who are in the UK that have come from India. And so, it just like here, there's a lot of folks from Mexico that live here. And so lots of restaurants and things like that. And so, Oh, no, it was so, so good.
Did you find your s'mores place?
Yeah, the Alchemist.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the Alchemist.
That was the one.
Okay.
Yeah, the Alchemist.
Still just a few, like, it's not like it's McDonald's,
It-
you know?
Yes, truly.
Yeah.
And then
Did they serve Truly? Sorry.
No. So I'm a big seltzer person, and I did not see many or any.
Did y'all drink much over there? Like, did you have like a Guinness or a beer? Or...
Yeah, I drank Guinness just about every place we went, unless they had a signature cask ale, which was a traditional beer that some of the pubs had. Like Sherlock Holmes had their own, and the Anchor had their own. And so if there was a signature beer, I got that. If not, I got Guinness. Because I like Guinness, but I don't drink it here. And so it felt appropriate.
And once we went to Amsterdam,
Heineken was the drink. Yeah, so I drank more Heineken than anything, which I hadn't had Heineken since I was a kid. It's way more enjoyable than I remember. I remember thinking as a teenager that it tasted really skunky, but not true. And then there were some places in Amsterdam where Heineken was cheaper than soda.
yes, and cheaper than water.
Yeah, so sometimes I'd be like, I feel like a Coke, and like, but like those 24-ounce Heineken's like $1 cheaper than a Coke. Like, let me just get that.
I remember Heineken being very carbonated. Like it really made me burp a lot for whatever reason.
It didn't me.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that's another beer.
That's straight from the tap too over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of specials on it, so it was like Guinness. There wasn't promotional pricing, but it seemed like in Amsterdam there were places where Heineken was like promotionally priced.
Well, because it's like the Netherlands is where
Yeah.
that is Heineken. Like,
yes,
it is
per-
the
perhap-
factory was.
Perhaps it is their Budweiser.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any other favorite attractions in London? Going back to London.
So I'm glad we went and saw the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, but like I don't have to do that again.
Okay.
It's
I had
very
missed it.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I had missed it the first time I had been to London, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, I really want to do that." That thing takes like an hour. We didn't like we got there really early, but not early enough to get seats or spots right in the middle where you can actually see the whole thing. So we were kind of like peeping through some bars, and it was very, very crowded. So like I was like, "Yay, we did the thing," but. I'm good with the one time.
I was in the 5th grade and we did DC. We did the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was just like, it is hot. We are a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
This is and you have to be silent. And somebody like where the ropes were where you couldn't stand, somebody had like the front of their foot past it. And the guard went over there and was just on that kid's ass about like, why is your foot there? It's like, it's a foot, dude. Like you gotta ease up, man.
Yeah. Wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Can we talk about something that we did notice the whole time we were over there, but specifically at the changing of the guard? Their police officers and anybody in authority is so kind and respectful. They weren't yelling at anyone. It wasn't like a typical TSA agent. Like there was a stark difference in just civility and respect
Question.
over there.
How many of them were rocking a Thin Blue Line sticker and had a Punisher tattoo?
None that I saw.
Okay.
None
Maybe
that
it's
I
in
saw.
their tramp stamp area.
Maybe. But right, or like they were just
Yes.
like, "Hey everyone, please keep the line moving," and then people still listened.
People did. Yeah, there were not policing issues at the changing of the guard, where there are way more people than need to be in that roundabout area. And at one point, there were 2 people climbing on the gate of Buckingham Palace to try and get better pictures of the soldiers proceeding in and out of the courtyard. And the police officer raised his voice just because there was, maybe 15 yards between him and the people climbing on the gate, and said, "Please get down from there." And they got down.
He didn't say, "Oi, mate." Oi, mate.
I don't think so.
Sorry.
But no, it was just the contrast was crazy because again, as soon as we got back to the US, again, TSA was like yelling at people and stuff like that, but like over at their airports, it was just really
Well, and
calm.
like TSA specifically on that trip, I don't mind when they yell out instructions, especially when there's so many people not following the protocol and it's slowing down the line. That is one thing. The one that frustrated me, I didn't realize in McGee Tyson the procedures had changed, that now you don't have to take your liquids or electronics out of your carry-on bag.
Yeah.
So, and that's on me, because I bet there was a sign that said it, but I just didn't read it.
I didn't see
So
it.
I'm going through and I put my carry-on bag in a bin, and then I'm putting my electronics and my liquids in their little independent cases in another bin. And as you can imagine, there's dozens of people in front of me and behind me, and the TSA agent, all I hear is, "No, no, 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 no." And I keep doing what I'm doing because I'm like, you're not talking to me. Like
I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. And come to find out, they are talking to me when they come and like put their hand on my bag and then proceed to put my stuff back in my bag, and that's okay too. However, it would be useful if you had said some qualifying factor that would have made me know you're talking to me, like, sir in the red hat, or like, can you put your liquid in your electronics back in your backpack? Like, yes, absolutely. It's like
Or
that.
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's like that I can work with. No. That doesn't help me help you.
It's
It's just
it's amazing to me how many times I go through TSA, and I always try to be happy.
Sure.
I always try to be the non-squeaky wheel.
Sure.
And how many times that has still met with vitriol.
Yeah, I respect that. That's probably a tough job.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of people are mean to them that don't need to be mean to them. But just like you're saying, that's not me. I'm not being mean to you. I'm eager to follow your directions and have your little bit of interaction with me be like really smooth.
Yeah.
But like I'm sorry I didn't realize no is me.
Yeah.
Like help me.
We went up to Boston. Next May, you have to have your updated license. Yeah. And the lady checking IDs stopped every single person to talk to them for 2 minutes about that.
Oh, man.
While we're all stressing out trying to get to the plane.
Oh, man.
And luckily, we got there early.
Yeah.
And I wasn't freaking out. But there was also a part of me going, please don't do this. Do this in the fall. Do this next January. Don't do this a full year.
Or just say like, hey, just so you know, next May you'll need a real ID.
No,
that took 10
you know
seconds.
what she was saying? No, you're not going to be able to fly with this come next May. And I was like, wait, I'm not going to be able to fly?
Yeah,
she was like, well, next May. I was like,
yeah,
this is not next May.
And everybody's heart's dropping
yes.
when she opens with, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, and maybe they will do this closer to time. How about like a nice one sheet that just say like, here's information on how to get your updated ID.
Yep.
Like move along.
Yeah.
And then, there's trash cans at security. So the people that are just going to discard it, put it in the trash can. It's like, but the people like probably me, because I ended up I used the QR code in Amsterdam that was like, here's how to get your real ID. And I still have that browser open on my phone because like that is helpful.
You saying that about taking your liquids out?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm going through TSA, I see the woman in front of me who's a single mom carrying her baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing them pull out full bottles of shampoo and full bottles and throwing them away. And I'm just like, also, how did you not get to 2024 and know you can't bring full bottles?
Yeah.
Like like what do you do?
Dang.
Like,
that's when like,
that's when I want to hand her $20 and go, buy some when you get there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to bring it home with you. Buy some when you get there. Like,
it's like, have you not been on a plane
I
since 2001?
I flew with a guy in 2013 that had not flown since prior to 9/11. And he had brought his whole family to the airport thinking they could walk up with him to the gate.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, no.
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 Those days are over.
Yeah, but I just couldn't imagine. Like, we don't travel a ton. We don't fly a lot. I used to fly a lot more for work. You used to fly a lot more for work. But at the same time, like, I don't know. That's a lot of years not to fly.
Yeah.
And
like, wow.
It's a lifetime when you think about all the changes that happen. Because, I remember being a little kid and walking my dad, like, to the gate.
Yeah.
And sitting in the rocking chairs at the gate, sitting at Guy Tyson, and
But also no one you know has flown.
I know.
Yeah, like you haven't used the internet
because
I'm like, you couldn't ask me because we're going on this trip together, because it was a work trip and we met up at the airport.
Same thing. Comic book people. When Greg and Sharon and I flew to Chicago to go to a comic convention, is 2003, I think, and my uncle had been going to Germany for work a lot.
Okay.
And he was like, let me give you a little bit of advice. He's like, anything you have in your pockets, because this was also 03.
Yeah.
You had change.
Yeah.
You know, you had whatever
Yeah.
in your pockets. Gum. He was like, take a backpack, open that little pocket, throw everything in there except for your ID and your boarding pass. That's all you. And you can take your phone with. I don't even think I had a phone at that point, like a cell phone.
Yeah.
He's like, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. Put that crap in your bag, and then when you get to your gate, you can get it all back out. And I still, to this day, I'm like, I have my ID. I don't even have my wallet. I just have my ID.
Yeah.
And have my phone, and
Now,
because it
Jody,
has the boarding pass now.
Right.
Jody's at a real ID because, you know, after May of next year,
I
you're
won't
not
be able
going
to
to be
fly.
able to fly.
I can't wait to visit that lady here in 2 weeks when I'm flying to Chicago, and she tells me again.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't looked up. I'll look that up this fall. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I do want to get the what is it called? The preferred thing.
Like TSA pre-check.
There's
thing?
pre-check and there's clear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do that and do the international version, which I think I'm gonna have to go to Atlanta to do.
I
Apparently, you have to fill out paperwork. It takes them time to. I was like, well, as long as I start like this fall, I should be able to. I still got to renew my passport.
Yeah.
Also, renewing your passport in 2024, you still have to physically take a picture, print out a picture. And I was like, what are we doing here? We're getting the real IDs. Why do I have to physically, where am I going to print a picture? Like
Yeah.
Walgreens? Like, what are you talking
Can you not do it
don't know.
at the
No.
county clerk? They can't
That's where I
take
did
the
it.
picture. Yeah.
I did it. At the
Oh,
county
they will
clerk.
take your picture?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least at the East Town
Yeah.
one.
I
They
did it. I did it on the
our
in West
passport.
Knoxville. I did it
For
at
your
the county.
passport.
Yep.
Okay.
I
I think
think-
maybe it was because it was being mailed in.
Yeah,
I mean, looking at
that's the
how-
reason.
I was like, I just want to renew this. Like,
Yeah.
And they're like, here's how you renew it. You mail it in and you do this and it will take 6 weeks. And okay, so you can do it at the county clerk. I didn't realize you could do it at the
think
county
so.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
so.
I did it. It was all like one stop for me.
clerk. Okay.
Yeah. Because I had to, like, when I got married and changed my name, I had to update my driver's license and my passport, and I feel like I did that all in one
Do
trip.
you know what I can get while I'm there too?
A new name.
My real ID.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do it while you're getting your passport.
I'm
But
gonna just
also, you can travel with just your passport, and that will work,
I know.
too.
I don't want that lady bitching at me again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I also don't want to have to carry my passport if I'm flying to
Exactly.
Washington,
Chicago.
D.C.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
a new picture on my ID, so
I look exactly the same on my license that I got a photo taken 10 plus years ago. I just tried to grow my beard enough to where it would be out of the picture.
nice.
Like on purpose. I was
Very
like,
nice.
"Come on, come on."
Very nice.
That's
And I
funny.
told the lady that, and she doubled over in laughter. She was like, "I think, hold on." She like moved it up to make it work. I was like,
Good work.
God, I love you. Like, you're great.
That's funny.
I am 26 years old in my driver's license picture.
Are you really?
I am. Yeah.
He shirked
They
the system.
yeah, they keep sending me letters like you have to come get a new picture. You cannot renew online. Like, check this out. I'm gonna renew
So-
this online.
When I went to get my new license, I think it's when I turned, was it 40? It may have been when I turned 40 that I had to renew it. And when I did, everyone previous to that, oh my God, dude,
Look at that young man.
look at that young man. Look at all that hair.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I look the same.
With a hoodie.
Yes. That's probably like a American Eagle hoodie or
My God.
whatever popular store there was at the mall back then.
So when I went at 40 to get my new license, my height, they had never, whenever I'd gotten it renewed, they never asked me if I wanted to change anything.
Okay.
So it was still the height I was when I was 16.
7'2".
No, it was 6'4" or 6'5".
Okay.
And I remember, here's a throwback for you.
Yeah.
It may have been before your time. One time I went to Moose's Music Hall.
Oh yeah.
And the dude looked at my ID and looked up at me, and he's like, "You ain't 6'4", 6'5". I was like, "Nah, I'm 6'7". He's like, "Yeah." It was a dude who had to have been like 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
He was like, no. I was like, how can you tell? I really wanted to be mean and go, how can you tell just that much difference from
way down there?
Yeah, that's just an inch or 2 inches difference. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
My license says I'm 6'1".
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
And clearly you're 6'4".
That's right.
You grew since then.
I'm 5'10", I think.
Amy says she's 4'2".
That's it.
And I mean,
yeah.
she's grown since then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She had a spurt. She had a little growth spurt.
Did you all visit any like museums or other historical sites
In
London? We're still in London.
In London, I think Amy and Rachel went to a museum. Right? Didn't you all go to a museum?
Yes, we went to the British Museum
Okay.
one afternoon, and then after that, we just saw a couple things like the Rosetta Stone. We were like, yeah, let's see this at the British Museum, and then some mummies. And then on the way back from that, we went up to this beautiful free rooftop where you can just like gaze over the city, and it was really lovely.
Did you all go on the London Eye?
No.
It's weird to me that a Ferris wheel is called the Eye.
Yes.
I still don't get that.
It
We,
was,
we went and looked at the prices, and because it was what,
Oh.
$50, $60, something
What?
like that. Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
like, I
it's-
don't want
it's
to.
For
do
a
it.
Ferris wheel?
Yeah, it was like I don't want to do it that bad.
but one thing we did do is we took the Uber boat
Mm-hmm.
because you can buy like a
You know what?
tour on the Thames, but then you just go to the same locations if you take the Uber boat, and it's a lot less expensive. So we did do that, but I mean, we only had to make like two stops before we got to where we were going, so we weren't on it very long. But
So
we
the
did
funniest
do that.
thing is, during my time of watching the Top Gear show,
Mm-hmm.
like 14, 15 years ago, they were saying, why are we not using, because they were bitching about bus lanes
Yeah.
and how much bus lanes occupy the roads
Mm-hmm.
and congestion charges and all that. And they're like, we have this, the Thames. Why are you not putting people on that?
Right.
And now they are.
Here they
That's
are.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you all deal? Did you all rent a car, or was it all public transport? No.
Yeah.
Public transport.
Yeah.
Well-
Hop on the bus, hop on the boat, walk. And in Amsterdam, we went.
The tube.
Yeah, we did the tube.
Mm-hmm.
In Amsterdam, we did a few museums. We did modern art, I forget what it's called, but essentially like the National Museum was
Yeah,
that
like
big massive one.
The right.
The Sex Museum, and is that royalty free music?
It is the way I do it.
And was that the
that
three?
was it.
Modern art, the
Yeah,
big one.
How long
Six.
was the train ride from London to Amsterdam?
I don't remember.
4 hours.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you take the Channel, which is the tunnel under the English Channel to get to France, and then we went up through Belgium, and then we landed and got in Amsterdam. But oh my gosh, if we had the equivalent of a Eurostar here, I would be so happy. It's so much more comfortable than a plane. They had pretty decent food. Yeah, it was just, and the view was gorgeous.
I keep getting served trains that are like San Francisco to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're so damn expensive
They are.
for even like a normal just seat, and they're long. They're long train trips, like over here.
Well, the Eurostar is real fast,
Yeah.
so like that's one of the advantages of it because it's built for.
Maybe that's
that.
something President Harris can address in her next 8 years.
Perhaps.
It's something that they tried to do already.
Like,
though.
look at the train food.
Yeah, check out the train food.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, that's just your standard meal. That's not extra charge. That's not anything. That's just how they serve.
So here's the other weird part. This will lead us into Amsterdam and the Netherlands. Is the whole thing about preservatives. About how in America the food is kind of crap. Like you can go over to Italy and eat all the pasta you want, and you don't gain as much weight because there's not as much preservatives and crap put into the food.
Okay.
So when I see that, I'm thinking, oh, that looks all like natural and real, like veggies and.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into that at all.
Okay.
I know I never felt very full or bloated
lethargic.
yeah.
Well, I never had one digestive problem in the 10 days that we were over there whilst traveling.
Real
so,
strong poops.
Yeah.
Real strong poops.
All good.
Yep.
Very healthy.
Solid.
All right, it's good having y'all on. Y'all can talk about Amsterdam amongst yourselves.
No, but like that's the thing. Like I didn't feel bloated at all while I was like it
Yeah.
just even like that first night where we're like Indian food, you know, like sometimes that works with the system, sometimes it doesn't. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Like it was and so I do feel like there was a difference just in the fact that I felt great, like I felt fine the whole time. So.
Okay, so we're heading to Amsterdam.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about food. What was the food scene like there? Was there anywhere that stood out?
There, the one of the first breakfasts we had, their version of pancakes is closer to probably what we would call a crepe. So that was a cute thing to learn, that like you get like a sweet and savory pancake.
You're like, give me like 36 of those. 'Cause I've been to Aretha Frankenstein.
That's right.
I'm gonna need a stack.
The curious thing about London and Amsterdam, not curious, but just different to get used to, is I think every bar but one we went to, you don't start a tab and you don't tip.
Yeah, the no tipping
Yeah.
thing I've heard about, which is
There were a couple times where we wanted to leave a little something extra, and I think all but once the server would take it. Maybe because they weren't even paying attention. Because we certainly weren't making a performance out of like there's a little something in there for you. It was just, you slide the bill back across, said thank you very much. But at the pancake place, we just handed them extra money, and they brought it back out, said that's $5 too much, and Rachel said, "Oh, that's for y'all," and the server was like, "No," and handed it back. I'm like, okay.
It was really, but a lot of places do include a service charge, and that is the tip. And so, and you can tip like 10, even if you're being really generous, like 15% extra if you want, but
It's different.
It's
definitely a
not
different culture
expected.
than here in the United States.
So you saying that about cash? Did y'all use card? Did you do the exchange and do cash?
Did both.
we did both. But let me tell you, you can tap to pay anywhere
Really?
in Europe.
At the 800-year-old bar, they were like, "Do you have tap?" I'm like,
Is that Apple Pay?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was a late converter on
Oh,
the
yeah.
Apple Pay. I did it right before we left for the trip, and I'm like, this is the most convenient thing
I
I've
haven't
ever
done it because you have to do a code and the facial ID. I was like, I don't want to do either one of those. I am on my phone too much to have to go tap, 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 tap. I've got enough tap, 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 taps. I've got enough two-factor authentication. Like maybe I'll change when
I mean, you just double click and boom, it's ready. It's so
I got
nice.
a card. I'll have cash. I don't know.
It was so convenient. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say at the 800-year-old bar was cashless. Yeah, they didn't even take cash.
Oh my God! Did y'all ever watch Parks and Rec?
A few episodes.
Yeah.
There's one where they went to London, and do you know the character Ron Swanson?
Yes.
So he goes up, and there's postcards, and it's a black postcard that says London at night, and he goes, "Ha ha ha! This is so funny." He was like, "How much is this?" And the guy was like, $150, and he hands him like a $10 American bill, and the guy was like, "We don't take American currency." And he was like, "This is the finest currency in the land." And they get into an argument, and it's, I don't know.
That's pretty fun.
I will. The pound is much stronger than the dollar right now, so we were like, it was about like 70. We were paying an extra 30% on everything, I'll say. So if it was, 70 pounds, we were paying $100 like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So but the euro was so close to the US dollar, and in the Netherlands, and I guess, well, at least in Amsterdam, whatever was the price. Like, you didn't have to pay extra tax. So by the time you factor that in, it was just about the same as US dollar, at least when we went.
Amsterdam is very fish heavy cuisine. Salty halibut and fried things that we would probably call hush puppies with fish in them. And there was one that it was, so think like fried bread ball, and you bite into it and it's beef stew inside of it.
Bitter ballin'. Very good.
Yeah, very good. And then one place we went to.
You're making me hungry.
Oh man, it was super good. And we went to one place called the Vegan Junk Food Bar. And
my sister's vegan.
Yeah. And I got vegan fish. And if you hadn't have told me it was vegan, I probably wouldn't have known. And then, but the thing at the Vegan Junk Food Bar, their biggest thing was presentation. So there's a lot of sauces and dips, but none of them are colored like traditional sauce and dip colors. So your ketchup is hot pink, and your tartar sauce is purple kind of stuff. And that was like their whole aesthetic, I think, was like hot pink and black.
Yeah.
It was very no emo rock didn't adopt hot pink, but not punk rock either. But there was some genre of music,
pop punk, like Avril Lavigne,
that kind of thing. Yeah, where all the logos and the fonts look very graffiti like.
Okay.
Which was very different than how I've experienced vegan restaurants before. The vegan restaurants I've been to before are a little fancier than I would dine in day to day, whereas this made it like way more approachable and fun.
Also, two things. I'm not vegan, but again, my sister is. There was a vegan option, and a good vegan option everywhere we went.
You nailed my question. I was like, did your sister have any issues finding vegan stuff?
Not a bit.
Wow.
Pink hamburger bun.
That's
Pink hamburgers.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing that
Real
I
hamburger
found,
or vegan burger?
That was a vegan burger.
that was a vegan
Okay.
burger. The other thing in Amsterdam specifically, the decor in all of the restaurants was so unique. It was ornate. It was like velvet chairs and
Crystal chandeliers.
crystal chandeliers and like really decorative, ornate, bold wallpaper and stuff like that. It's like a peacock should have been sitting over in the corner of like every restaurant that we went to. And so that was really interesting to me. I was like, this has a vibe for sure. More about food. Stroopwafels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are real good. That we had, so they serve them warm, but also like dipped in chocolate with some like candies or whatever on it. Yeah.
So I keep getting served up the same video on Instagram and TikTok of this woman making a fresh stroopwafel, and she looks like a supermodel. And like all the comments are like, yeah, she's a, jokingly, she's a 5 there, but over here she would be a movie star. And I've seen some of them where they make them into almost like taco shells, like they fold them and they put stuff in them. And
some of the bakeries had the filled stroopwafels or topped stroopwafels. The consistency of those was really pleasing.
And they also have like thick waffles, but as a dessert. And so I would say the batter that they used, when we ate one, it tasted more like the dough would of like a cinnamon roll or like a sweet bread for the waffle, as opposed to like the kind of waffle batter we're used to here. At least the one place that we had.
No, one other thing, ice is not really a thing, right?
Yeah, it's not as much ice, or you have to ask for ice.
I'm noticing that in nicer restaurants here now, it's a lot more of like you get a bottle of water that's room temp for the table, and I'm like, can you chill that or something? I don't like. It sits weird on my. As stupid as that sounds,
No, that's not stupid.
like it's a digestive. I don't know. Cold water just
You like what you like.
hits different. Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. But no,
Shout out
it's
to
the,
Cold.
it's the
term.
same.
Shout out cold water.
Yeah, it's the same there. And I will say in London it wasn't as big of a deal, but in Amsterdam you have to specifically ask for tap water, or they'll give you a bottle of water and charge you €4 for it. So
Oh,
yeah, and then there's no free refills either anywhere.
killing me.
Yeah, if you get a soda, like if you want one, they don't really offer them. They don't, not a whole lot where they like, hey, would you like another something because it,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
and so you have to specifically ask for another soda or something if you want one, and then they'll of course charge you more because no free refills.
Tap water. That's a good
Tap water.
call.
Yep.
Like you have to ask for tap water.
Shout out tap water.
Shout out ice cold tap water.
Was there any other food in
In Amsterdam?
Amsterdam that
Was there anything like unique for like breakfast, or since you're talking about like fish and vegan stuff, like was breakfast?
So our hotels that we booked with #Costco travel.
Now is this Costco like the
Yes, yes.
What the hell?
They have a
I
travel
had
branch.
it marked down to ask eventually at
Yes.
the end of like.
It is that Costco.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the places that we stayed had breakfast included every day, like a nice breakfast every day. And also, there is no such thing as drip coffee, at least where we went to. Everything was espresso based, which I'm not complaining about. I had a latte every day of my life over there.
Mark Normand and Sam Morrell have a You Might Be Drunk podcast.
Okay.
And they both did European tours, like 6 months apart. And I think it was Sam did it, or Mark did it first. He was telling Sam, he was like, they don't have drip coffee. He's like, you're going to have to. And Sam was just like, he's a New Yorker through and through. He's like, I don't understand. Like, I just want to have a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
man.
You can get an Americano.
Yeah.
But I think the breakfast food at the hotels was what we would expect. Eggs,
Eggs, bacon.
sausage, like a breakfast pastry or
Okay.
a muffin kind of thing. And a lot of days I slept through breakfast, so
Yeah.
we didn't.
I had breakfast every
I just
day.
slept when I could sleep.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't worried about, I got to get on this schedule. I was like, I'll just sleep when I sleep.
I tried to get on a schedule and still had a very hard time, especially the first couple
Oh,
days
'cause of
in
the travel.
London.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I'd stay up really late, sleep through breakfast, and then I'd be ready to go by lunchtime.
I will say I got this advice for one of the AIGA leadership retreats, and I think about it when I travel, which is there was this guy Doug that he every year before a leadership retreat he was like, here's the 10 things you need to know. And he would run through, and some of the things would be schmaltzy, like you're going to meet people you will be friends for the rest of your life, all that stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah. No, it's
But-
true, right?
But one of the things, you missed all that stuff. Yeah, the hand motions. It could have been this hand motion.
That's what I was
Sorry,
just-
I missed opportunity there.
Yeah. So it's not worth explaining
No.
people that are listening.
You can imagine. Leave it to your imagination.
Susan, I'll tell you about it later.
Hey, I tell you what. Comment underneath this and tell me what you think. I was
Like,
doing.
share, link in bio,
Subscribe, link in bio.
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Top 10.
GoFund you.
Yes. Top 10 things.
Top 10 things, but one of the things he said was there's a lot to do. Like the programming and then the after party hang and everything. He's like, you'll sleep when you get back. And I think about that a lot when I travel. It's like, yeah, that's right. Like maximize your time there. Respect, like, when I hate to keep bringing up when we were in Boston, but there were times where I was overheated. I needed to cool down. I would go to my bed, my hotel room, and sleep for an hour in the 60 degrees.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I cranked the AC down. I was like, there are times you need to recharge, but I would do that so that I could stay out later. But then I was there. She's never going to listen to this. I was there with Donovan. So by like 8 o'clock, she's like, I'm ready to go to bed. I was like, I want to go get more beer. What are you talking about? After the Bananas game, she just started walking back to the hotel. It's like, I'm amped up. Let's go do something. And she's like, no. Okay.
If you want to take advantage of time, let's talk Amsterdam. If you go in June, at least, late June, it will be light until past 11 o'clock at night.
Holy crap.
Yeah, was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Did not know until we were there, and it was after 10 and after 11, and it was...
Did it ever get like actual dark
Yes.
of night like
Yeah.
this?
Mhm.
Okay.
At least I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
it
did
did.
have blackout curtains, thankfully. Oh, and also you could open the windows in your hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
So my this is going back to my uncle. When he was working, he would do like 3-month clips in Germany to where he was working like teaching them how to do something. I can't remember what he was doing, but he was in some big apartment complex. He would crack his window and sit there and smoke cigarettes out the window.
Yeah.
And he was like, also, no air conditioning. So I needed just something.
Yeah.
And he said the other thing weird in Germany was when he'd want to shave, he had turned the hot water on. He was like, I turned the hot water on. I went down and got breakfast. I got some coffee. I came back up. It was lukewarm. I went and had a cigarette. And he was like, it took a long time.
Wow.
That's wild. Never heard that.
The other weird thing I'm because this is travel and it's random, and who knows when this will help someone out. In researching the Scotland trip, I was like, I can't drive a stick. Is that going to be a problem?
Yeah.
And I did research on it, and they were like, there are automatics, but they're limited, so book early. So I went on a website and I looked, and it was like only 10% of the cars were automatics. 90% of the cars are sticks.
Huh.
And I was like, if I go to Scotland, I'm sure public transport is great, but I want to have a little bit more freedom.
Sure.
And it's not that big of an island
Yeah.
compared to the States.
Yeah.
God damn it, all the hell.
You should, while
Like-
you're in Scotland, like if you're going to travel outside of Scotland, I would really recommend Northern England. The Lakes District is beautiful.
This is the whole thing about that trip is how much time can I get off work? Because
Yes.
if I could go, I would want to go for like 2 full weeks.
Yeah.
And actually go down to like London and in England and stuff. But I think I'm going to do like 10 days. And I know, look at me getting this back on track. I know I'm probably going to be tired getting there. Sure. Because it's a long trip.
Yes.
And I'm now and I'll have to, so I will budget for time on the front end and back end to where I'm not killing myself.
There you go.
To maximize that time, the 8 days in between. And Isle of Skye, I really want to go to Isle of Skye, and some of this, that's the big one for me, I
Do
think.
it.
More than the cities.
Do it.
I know.
Do
Also,
it.
look for Nessie while you're there.
Yeah, of course. Oh, God, there's another movie recommendation for you. Do you... I can't do it. I can't do it. Can I do it?
Do
A
it.
Loch Ness Monster movie?
Do it.
No. So, now I'm blanking on his name. Why am I blanking on his name?
Robert Kennedy.
I wouldn't know who he was anyway, I bet.
James
Yeah, you
I
will.
didn't know who Paul
Damn it.
Giamatti.
I'm trying to
Giamatti
pull
was.
pull it myself. The minute I see it, I'm going to get angry at myself.
Tim Allen.
Tim Burton.
Tim Meadows.
I'm out.
Tim...
Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder,
We love
famous director.
Yep.
Directed Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity, Sabrina. His last film was a film called The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
And it is a film I love. And it is from the 70s. And part of it takes place in Scotland, where they are investigating the sighting of Nessie.
Huh.
But it is all shot through a 1970s Playboy Vaseline on the lens cap, weird like soft filter. I love it.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of my friends that I've recommended it to did not think as highly about it. They are wrong. But Nessie plays an important part. And Billy Wilder is the person I was trying to think.
Billy.
Also, I think it may be the best Sherlock and Watson I've ever seen in film or television.
Nice.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot.
Okay.
Nice.
Enough about me. What were some of your favorite what were the attractions y'all went to in Amsterdam? Anne Frank House?
Yes. So, pro tip, you can only buy tickets, like you have to be within a 6-week window to buy tickets to the Anne Frank House, and you
Okay.
have to like log in when the week opens up. so that you can get tickets during the summer. At least it was fully booked. So I happened to log on the week before to just see, like, how do I get tickets? And it was going to open up Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. their time, which is like 3 a.m. 2 a.m. No. 3. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Real early, like middle of the night, our time. And so I risked it and got up at 6 o'clock that morning and immediately got on and was able to get tickets to the Anne Frank house. But I loved that because I grew up, I watched the movie, I read the book, really cool history, and you actually get to walk through the place where they were locked up for 2 years hiding from the Nazis, and 8 people were living in a really small space, 1 bathroom, but they weren't even allowed to flush the toilet in the middle of the day because it was over a warehouse and people below could have heard and turned them in. So it was just it was really powerful to experience that and learn a lot more about her. Her actual diaries were there at the end that you could look at. So yeah, it was very cool.
I didn't know it was above a warehouse.
Yeah, it was.
I think I read that book when I was a kid, but I
Yeah.
cannot remember.
We got to go, like, there's a hidden bookcase, right? And you walk through the hidden bookcase, and that's where they were
Good
hiding for 2 years.
Yeah, it was so small. Yeah, it's really upsetting to think that humans put other humans in situations like that where you would be in such a life or death scenario. Like, yeah, I'll live in a room with 8 other people and have to be scared every day. Like, yeah, which is, I'm sure what that was meant to evoke out of you is it wasn't supposed to be like, how cool. It's more like how awful that we do this to each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that she was just like a very free writer and like wrote fiction and short stories. And she had multiple books that she kept of like her serious diary and then like her more creative things. And at the end, you get to see a variety of artists' representations of like, oh, well, if Anne had this book published, here's what the illustrations might have looked like.
That's
and
cool.
This bit of like a tribute to her effort, and then just like a showcase of local artists. And it was in like a little bit of levity because some of her short stories were like happy things.
Okay.
And so you're still sad, like, oh, I'm so sorry this girl didn't get to fulfill her potential, but that's cool that her mission of wanting someone to read these happy stories like still happened.
Yeah, and I found it really powerful. Like, it made me emotional to think about, people letting her legacy live on after she was gone. Because, again, what I learned there was she wanted to be a writer, and she was actually rewriting her diaries in order to publish them someday.
Okay.
Yeah, and then again with the short stories and the illustrations, I just thought that was really cool. That again, it just kind of, she got to fulfill what she wanted to do, even though she wasn't around to fulfill it. So it was very cool. So I really would highly recommend. We had some friends who were actually heading to Amsterdam like next week, and they were not able to get tickets because they didn't log on in time. So
That's also kind of crazy.
yeah.
That I understand. It's one of those I understand, but I also don't understand at the same time. If that makes sense.
And then one of the other things I really liked.
I am actually pulling up some to show.
Okay. Even more than no, you're good. Even more than the National Museum, I really did like. Adam referenced it earlier. The Modern Art Museum. It was called the MoCo. It's modern and contemporary because they had Banksys there.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got to see some Banksys and some other modern artists as well. I identified with that art a lot more. It's really hard for me to be like, oh, look at this piece of art. Like, I'm just not that deep of a thinker, I guess. And so, like, looking at art for hours and hours doesn't do a whole lot for me. But that, I felt I actually connected to some of it. There was a exhibit about mental health. I really liked
like
it.
Robbie Robbie Williams, the UK pop star, is apparently a renowned artist, and he painted through his bouts of depression and anxiety, and so had these. If you saw him from a distance, you would think, "Haha, what a fun painting!" And then you get up close and you read the captions and thought bubbles and stuff. And I say they look fun because very bright, very vibrant, almost childlike drawings.
Okay.
But then there'd be like a very
Interesting.
introspective message in the painting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then some Banksies that, I mean, certainly looked like they'd just taken them off the wall. Like it wasn't just like a reproduction kind of thing.
I have like 4 documentaries loaded up about Banksy. One of them I think is called Saving Banksy.
Okay.
And it's about the impact of like, there was a point where Banksy just painted on the side of a dude's garage. And all of a sudden everyone went nuts. And how that impacted that's cool. That dude's life and how it messed up his life.
Yeah.
And I think somebody ended up coming along. Somebody famous came along and said, we'll just pay to remove this and replace your garage. We'll pay you for it, all that. But it was like the thing of like, Banksy is not thinking of that when he is doing this. First time I saw one was in San Francisco in like 2009. I was just walking and looked up and there was one and it was insane. Okay, so do you know the theory about who they think Banksy is?
No, I don't remember.
Do you know
Shakespeare.
Billy Wilder. No. Do you know the band Massive Attack?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay. Have you ever seen the show House?
Yes.
Yes.
You know the theme song?
Yes.
Electronic.
Yes.
It's called Teardrop. It's by this band called Massive Attack.
Okay.
They're a band that were some of the forefathers in what is known as trip hop.
Yeah.
So Massive Attack, Massive. They think it is either one or two of the guys from Massive because they travel all over the world. That's how they're able to do this.
Interesting.
That's a theory.
Maybe.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about museums.
Yes.
Van Gogh Museum.
Yes.
Did not get to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sold out.
Yeah, you have to book your tickets online, and we did not do that soon enough.
Did not realize.
Okay. Since I've mentioned other movies, have you heard of this film? That is up on my screen. I'm trying to clear out my
Loving
questions
Vincent.
to make. It is called Loving Vincent.
Heard of it.
So what they did, and I've got it on mute. Let's see the ad for future President Harris.
I was scoffing
That's real
at.
good.
I was scoffing that it wasn't actually
Well, that's
an
what
ad
pulled
for
up when I looked
President
over here.
Harris. Gotcha.
So every single frame of this is a full painting painted by artists.
Whoa.
And I saw this at Downtown West.
Nice.
And it is a beautiful and
Nice.
gut-wrenching and heartfelt film. They did rotoscoping. Oh, you mentioned the IT crowd. So the cop there, or the mailman with the big beard, that's the dude from the IT crowd.
Oh,
There are some famous people in this film.
okay.
I can't remember his name, Chris O'Dowd. He was in Bridesmaids. But yeah, this film, every single frame
Wow.
is a painting.
Wow.
And it is that guy. It is a beautiful film. And the end of the film, I was sitting there crying. Like it is a very gut-wrenching film. And there's Don McLean, who did American Pie. Bye Bye Miss American Pie. He wrote a song called Vincent about Vincent van Gogh.
Okay.
And there's this more modern artist, Leanne LeHavlis, and she does a version of it called Starry Night, and it's a very beautiful.
Nice.
Wow.
And that's what plays over the credits, where they show kind of like the making of and the rotoscoping. So you see Chris O'Dowd actually talking on camera and how it matches up with this.
That's cool.
But it is a very beautiful and powerful.
Yeah. What an endeavor.
Yeah. I think they started out on like a Kickstarter to try and get it done, and then realized
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Go fund you.
And it was something insane. Like originally they thought it was going to be 20,000 paintings, but ended up being, that's Saoirse Ronan, who was Lady Bird. God, never mind.
Sorry. Sorry.
I've heard that name. I was trying to
What?
place it.
But it ended up being like 800,000 paint. Like, it was, it was something insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Unreal.
and it took like years.
Yeah,
Like,
it would
long
have
years
to.
do.
Yeah.
There's Ethan Hawke.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. There's Maya Rudolph. Man, they're really listening.
Yeah.
I
They
know. Another thing that is a can't miss in Amsterdam is a canal tour. But we specifically
You got
went
to my next question before.
Nice.
We specifically went on a Black History canal tour, and it was really interesting. So we heard before we went that Amsterdam is rich in Black history, and we're like, tell me more, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm very Americanized in that I don't pay very much attention to what's going on in the rest of the world. So it was really interesting to hear the comparisons and contrasts between the experiences of Black slaves there versus here.
Okay.
And in addition, the canal tour was just rich with all sorts of Amsterdam history as well, and just from kind of like the areas of town to like how they marked the buildings before the address system existed, because their country's old enough that they didn't have the address system apparently until Napoleon came around, which did not know, right?
Okay.
Because I've lived in a country that's less than 300 years old, so
It's the greatest nation in this world. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even make. Never mind. I can't even make the jokes anymore. Like I'm too eye on the prize at this moment. Like all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get moving. Like
yeah. So
Indeed.
that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was, and then the tour guide was a PhD and is part of an organization that, I'm saying this to say that they're not just like giving a tour. Like they're an activist in that country and working with like local government and local municipalities to get like landmarks, and history changed. In that very easy concept, history is written by like wealthy people or people who have everything going their way, and so there are big gaps in history anywhere that participate in slave trade where like people have no idea where they came from or who their family is, and so she's part of an organization trying to if they can't fill those gaps up with information, they just want it noted of like who was here, who helped build this, who helped make these industries happen, and like let's not just pat all the wealthy people who wrote the books on the back of like, man, like y'all were so brilliant, you did it all by yourselves. Like, no, you did not. Like you had a lot of people that you were mistreating that helped make this possible. And then on like a much less important note, the tour guide, she brought like wine and fruit and snacks, and so like it was really cool. You could sort of sit back and relax and as much as you could while trying to digest like this very heavy
and
information.
here's where the slaves come into the country.
Like
make sure you eat the brie.
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
Cabernet.
are you parched, sir?
Yep.
American boy, are you parched?
But she's written several books in collaboration with some other folks, and like they passed around some of the books that she had written, and she's getting 2 more master's degrees right now, and
she's very motivated to
and,
learn.
Yeah, and she was from the U.S., but her whole family is Dutch or like lived in the Netherlands before, so now she's living in Amsterdam and doing this research and stuff like that. So.
I think this is a weird. It's rambling, man. I think Will Ferrell's wife is like Dutch or something. Like all of their kids' names are like like Magnuson or something.
Yeah,
like they're all. I'm probably wrong on Dutch. You're gonna look it up.
we'll see.
But it's just fascinating because he has done a lot of exploration in the country. Is it Dutch
I'm just going to type in is Will Ferrell Dutch.
or his wife? It's his wife.
Okay.
What nationality is Will Ferrell's wife?
Joe,
What nationality is Will Ferrell's wife? See who can get it quicker.
So this is telling like his
Sweden. She's
Yeah,
Swedish.
it was like this is telling that he's from like Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Lima,
She's Swedish.
Ohio.
So that's not. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
But they're all
You're an
neighbors.
American. It's
Yeah.
fine.
They're all neighbors, right?
Basically.
Aren't we all just all neighbors?
Isn't that part of the Netherlands? Like, isn't that Sweden? No.
Like Norway, Sweden, Finland, like, right?
Isn't that the Netherlands?
No. The Netherlands is like Holland is the Netherlands is Dutch people and
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I had a football coach
Lots of
for
different ways.
geography or history.
Got it.
Don't
It's
know
fine.
which one because I was
I-
never in class.
I did learn while we were there because I've always wondered why is honestly my biggest exposure to the Netherlands up until we were there. Like I didn't even know it was a canal town in Amsterdam until we arrived. So that's how oblivious I was. But is the Olympics. That's the biggest
Yeah.
exposure because like really into sports. They're always at the top of the medal count and I'm obsessed with the Olympics. So the Netherlands, I've always been like, okay, your flag is red, white, and blue. Why are you wearing orange? And it's the royal family.
Okay.
The color of royalty there is orange, and so even though their flag is red, white, and blue, the national like color that people use to celebrate and like their football team and all of this stuff is orange. So
Okay, I'm gonna
and
stick.
that's why their outfits.
I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth even more while I'm on this track.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't what would you call it? The average person there, aren't they like tall and blonde and very Nordic? So I think that's
From
why I
what I
confused
saw.
them. That's why I always grouped them together with like Sweden and Finland and
Mm-hmm.
all that. It's because that is the look or the normality of
Mm-hmm.
the Dutch. That they're also tall and
And again, maybe I'm basing that on the fact that I see Olympians and a lot
yeah.
of them are probably like tall, athletic,
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't such a stark contrast that I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like these people look so different here. But I definitely did see several tall, thin, athletically built people.
So in that, I know bikes are a big thing.
Yes.
So did you all rent bikes or anything?
No.
Did not.
No.
You did. How was the public transport there?
I think we walked.
We walked everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very, very walkable.
'Cause-
well, in the boat, like we took the boat tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since it is a canal town and things like that, even if you take the transit, it takes about the same amount of time as it does to walk. Like we downloaded an app called City Mapper that is really good with like public transit and stuff. But every time we looked something up in Amsterdam, it was like 19 minutes to get there on transit, 19 minutes to get there walking. So we just walked.
Oh, okay.
So
Is there anything else to talk about with Amsterdam before we move into the final? Get you all out of here.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We mentioned that we went to the Sex Museum.
Oh yeah, Sex Museum. Oh yeah, did you go through the red light district?
We did. Yeah.
Was it as
It's not. I was led to believe that it was just lawless.
put them on the glass?
Yeah, just like lawless, just skin everywhere. Like no, dude, it's just they're just at work.
yeah.
Like we walked through the part we went through. It's like every worker has seemingly like their own private doorway, and if they have a client, they pull back these big thick curtains so you can't see in, and you know they're not available. And then if they're willing to take a client, they're just standing at the door, not too different from someone running any other brick and mortar business. And I was deliberately trying not to look so much because I didn't want anyone to think that like I'm a client. I'm trying to.
Because you walk through farmers markets, you're like, don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
They're gonna be
Yeah.
like,
It's
hey,
the
would
same
you like to
concept.
would you like to buy these melons? Would you like to buy these melons?
Yeah, but it was way more business-like than I had been led to believe.
Okay.
And then like the people that asked me about it who were like, who
Are gross.
Well, who were just saying, it was like, "Man, you probably just weren't looking." And like, no, I was looking. It is, they're at work. Like, they're just working. Like, yeah.
And I, on the other hand,
Said hello to every single
waved
one
and
of them.
smiled at everybody. I
Hi,
did.
how are you? You look very expensive.
No, and like there's glass between you and them.
when you were saying stand in the doorway, I was like,
a door
At a glass door.
a window,
Oh, okay.
as it were. But yeah, I was just waving, smiling, hello. And so was my sister, but both Adam and David were like, eyes straight ahead. Like,
Yeah.
let's just
because they're men.
walk.
They're like, I ain't getting yelled at later for looking at
But
stuff.
also, like,
Hands in pocket. Wait, no, hands up here. I can't put them in my pocket.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, but like things I had heard about Amsterdam were definitely not true as far as like, oh my gosh, I'll just like end up in the red light district. Like we had to go. There were lots of shops and stuff like that when we knew like, well, you're in the red light district, but we were like, where is like that street where their people actually are? And so it took a while to actually find like where the folks were stationed and like the actual places with the red bulbs. Like it took a while to find that. And then also people were like, oh yeah, like marijuana's legal and stuff like that.
Coffee shops. I've heard about the coffee shop.
But it's definitely like it's not legal to just like have it out on the streets or anything. You have to go specifically to a coffee shop, which is what they are called there, to purchase it and use it in that area only.
Picturing Adam going, can I get Americano? And they just hand you a brick.
Yeah. Apparently coffee shops are for weed and cafes are for coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah, did not know.
Yeah.
And then even the coffee shops, when you're indulging, it's the immaturity that I had been led to believe that was part of that is not there. It's just, no, we just want a brownie and a coffee. And like, it's not, we're not out of control. We're not being menaces to society. It's just very, they just do this every day. Like, this is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas when I remember the first time I met people that went to Amsterdam, I was in college. And that was like the first people who told me about like, dude, it's a party everywhere.
Yeah.
And that was still lingering in the back of my head. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I bet if you wanted that, just like any city anywhere, you could find a wild party. But for people that just wanted to casually, I would like a soda and a space brownie. You can just go sit there calmly and like play on your phone and then calmly leave, kind of thing.
My phone is turning into a bat that is flying away.
Yeah. Did I get the DMT brownie?
What were the kind of the differences in vibe and atmosphere between London and Amsterdam? Was there a distinct difference in vibe or atmosphere?
Amsterdam seemed way more slow-paced, a lot more foot traffic, way less automobile and bus traffic. And then were we in Amsterdam on the weekend?
Yes.
So like that might have changed it too.
I was going to say
bit.
London's like a New York, like it's a city,
It's
a
bustling
city.
yeah. Where which it wakes up early and you got commuter traffic and tourists because it's the summer, so I'm sure we were one of millions of tourists who were there. But it never felt overwhelming or unwelcoming. But yeah, London would have been closer to like big city United States. Amsterdam felt like Asheville or something, where there's like a bunch of people here, but it's just we're not in a hurry to get anywhere. We're all shopping at these local places, and we're all going to just have a bite to eat and casually enjoy the scenery. And but both were very likable and comfortable, just different ways.
Did you feel safe both places?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's because you had Amy with you. Who would have shanked a mofo.
She would have.
You like that?
Yeah.
Distraction.
Yeah, no, nothing ever felt uneasy. Even in the tourist places, it didn't feel like there was a lot of like predatory tourist practices of like,
I've heard France and Italy are pretty bad on
I had
targeting
an acquaintance
tourists.
that just got back from Sweden.
Yeah.
And he went on his honeymoon, so it's like a really happy occasion, but he had a big but, and he was like, but I swear the whole country is based on tourism, and so everywhere we go, you're getting treated like a gullible tourist of like, you can't and I don't know because I haven't been, but I didn't experience any of that in London or Amsterdam, where you felt like you're constantly being approached by somebody wanting to sell you a tour, sell you a trinket, sell you a thing, or asking you to buy their wares if you're going through a market. Like, nobody was aggressive. It was very nice.
I will say a lot of people at the hotel in London specifically warned us about pickpockets in super touristy areas. They're like, if you go see the changing of the guard, just watch your stuff.
And I perceive that's an
any
everywhere
big city.
thing. That's like, there's someone that
Don't
like,
put your phone in your back pocket.
Yeah, one he was from the United States, definitely. He showed up on a tour with his backpack just like busting at the seams with stuff, and he still had his airport luggage identifier on it. Yeah. And the tour guide felt like pretty friendly, like was like, I wouldn't carry that around. I think he was insinuating one, that full, or with this tag from the airport on it, because that just screams to a pickpocket like, you have something that I want. And then this guy was like, I'm not worried. He didn't say I'm not worried about it, but that was essentially what he said. Like, have you never traveled? Like, my perception is don't do that on any trip. Yeah. Like, don't scream you're a tourist, and don't fill like your worldly possessions in one bag and carry it with you.
That's also the weird thing of, I know people that are like, don't look up, don't carry a camera with you. You're just going to get... I remember the first time I went to New York, I had people tell me left, right, and center, don't take your good camera with you because somebody will just drive by and take that from you. I was like, who's going to take that from me? Like, first of all. Yeah. It's like, and don't look up at buildings. It's like, I'm enjoying myself, dumbass. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't think it's that... Like, don't be so oblivious to your surroundings, but... Yeah, like, let's maybe not treat everywhere like everyone surrounding us at all times has malicious intentions against us. Right. Like, what if we're all just enjoying the day? And, like, I have an iPhone. Yeah. It's not like, look at that dude pull out his phone, let's get him. Like, like, I don't have to pull it out of my pocket.
13. What are y'all talking about? This ain't even up to date. That's got a cracked screen.
Mine's at 12.
Oh. Would you visit either city again?
Oh yeah. You can't do it all one time, and it was worth it and affordable, and fun. Yeah, it was nice to be there.
And do you have any specific tips or recommendations for other couples planning to take a trip? Did you like having another couple there? Or would you like to go like back on your own, just the two of you?
I think it's good for Amy and Rachel. They have a different pace than David and I. And then David and I are very comfortable. Like I said earlier, just like he and I don't need to talk out plans. And he and I just sort of know, I want to be alone. Me too. Okay, we don't have to talk about it. I'll see you at dinner. So yeah, I think that was a good... I think that was a good move for us because we knew people's energy levels are different. Yeah. And tips, to be repetitive, I say just sleep when you sleep. Like, to me, it wouldn't have been any good to get all twisted up trying to get back on London time, Amsterdam time. I know I'm not going to sleep the day away, and I know I'm not going to waste time when I'm awake. So I just sleep when you feel like it and be up when you feel like it.
I listened to a podcast about jet lag before we left, so. But I also am really rigid. Like my phone, even just sitting here recording this, was like, it's your bedtime. Like it's already turned into sleep mode because it's 9:43, and I'm really rigid and strict about sleep because it impacts my brain so much. So I have a different approach, but we totally have that different approach to life too.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
I've spent so much time in my life working and then going to shows that are late that I am very accustomed to an hour-long power nap adds 5 more hours to a normal day. Like there was a time I went over to Nashville for a show, and I was like, my eyes hurt and my head hurts, and I'm just tired from driving, even though it's a short trip. So I was like, I'm gonna just lay down on the couch. I bet I slept for 20 minutes, and I think I stayed up till 1 a.m. Like it does not take much. It doesn't take much.
Yeah. And I will say my only tip, and I've kind of mentioned it before, so it was just really intimidating to think about scheduling all the things. So we opted to use a service, Costco Travel.
Click the link to the
link in bio.
referral code.
Yeah, but that got all the big stuff out of the way. That took the worry away from, am I going to get a hotel in a good area, near, because they had a centrally located in both, and so it was really easy to get to restaurants and shops and all that at both hotels. And so having that done, having them do the flight and having them do the train got all the big stuff out of the way, so we weren't worried about that. And so I really liked doing that. So especially if someone is intimidated by, oh my gosh, all of this planning, I would say go that route, even if it costs a little bit more, just so the big worry is gone and you can just plan the fun stuff.
Okay. And are you amped to go somewhere else, or do you know where you'd like to go next?
No, hadn't thought of anywhere specific, but I like to believe that I'm always up for a trip. Yeah, I'm very open to suggestion. Like shortly after we got back, we went to Maryland, and then we're gonna go to Asheville for a few days before the year. So we have smaller things planned, but the next big thing, knowing the way we budget, it'll probably be a year or two before we do anything really big.
Where the hell is that coffee shop that I sent you to where you had to like hike for 2 miles?
Yeah.
That it was in the middle of like Italy or Germany or somewhere that popped up, and I told Adam, I was like, I want us to both become ballers enough to where this can be one of our marketing meetings.
Yeah.
Go to Italy or wherever the hell it was.
Man.
Spain.
I forget where it was, but it was really exciting looking.
It was kind of like open air and really cool.
Yeah, like out in the middle of
maybe it's like Poland. Like it was somewhere super weird.
In like the middle of a quagmire.
Oh.
We'll be right back.
You know whose favorite coffee shop that was? Billy Wilder's.
Billy.
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, okay. I think that's it.
We did it.
I think we're good. We gotta get Amy. You gotta get Amy home to bed.
I did.
And you've got like at least 5 more hours of TikToking to do, man. I sent you some stuff on TikTok. It's piled up enough.
I probably have close to 200 unread messages on TikTok.
I only account for 175 of those. My friend Jesse will actually send me screenshots, being like, "You have sent me 65." I was like, "I've sent you 65 over a month. Come on."
Yeah, that's not that bad.
That's not that bad. Check them once a week, man.
I just got out of the habit of checking TikTok messages. I still like TikTok. I just don't check the messages.
I don't like for some reason. Email saying 20,000 unread emails does not bother me.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay. That
my anxiety.
Yeah, that is.
I'm gonna look at the actual number.
Oh, Jody.
Okay. Sorry, it's not 20,000. It's 12,707.
I'm at 14.
Now
it makes my eye twitch. My eye is actively twitching.
Now I will say that
is
is my Gmail, where I sign up to every newsletter, it's so much.
But you can make social and like coupons and stuff like that. What is it called?
Promotions.
Thank you. Promotions. Social and promotions don't have to send you a notification. Only my primary inbox sends me a notification,
okay.
and that's how I keep it manageable. That gives the little red notification number truly like makes my blood pressure go up.
I can't stand it on anything else. Like Regal, I can't stand that Regal is saying there is an alert. When I look at it and it's just saying there's a Deadpool collectible, I do not care.
Hate that.
So the email, for whatever reason, I think it's because it feels untentable. Like there was one point when I worked for, oh my God, we're getting off track, but I swear we'll end on this. When I worked for some major media corporation the second time,
Fox
where I was
News.
like, I am, where?
Fox News.
Fox News, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you look at me, that's what it screams. Actually, that's scary. No, it's not. I'm too shaggy for Fox News. I don't have helmet hair for Fox News.
Or a bow tie.
I don't think there are any bald dudes on Fox News.
Dan Bongino has hair.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I spent 4 days getting my Gmail down.
Oof.
And I got it down to like 300.
Woof.
And the 300 were like, here is something you're going to be shipped in 6 months. I was like, well, I don't want to mark that as red.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to forget. Or it's like for taxes, like here are my Dropbox notification, for payment. I got to collect those at the end of the year. Like that kind of crap.
Yep.
So I would leave those as unread to where it just still, I go away on vacation and all of those emails pile up.
Indeed, they do.
And I could not care less. I try to keep the first one. I try to look at them all, and then anything that I do need to handle, I handle. If I can.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Sorry. All right.
That's it.
Travel the world.
Yeah, if you can afford it, try to find the money.
We saved up for a while
Yeah.
before we did this trip. We knew a big one was coming. So we actually
Did a GoFundMe.
Yeah, we did a GoFundMe.
GoFund
No.
you.
Yes, exactly.
GoFundMe.
No, we actually opened a travel account, so a little bit of every paycheck goes into the travel account, and then I don't feel guilty or bad spending money from that account because I was like, it was earmarked to do things like this.
My parents did that they had a Christmas fund.
Yeah.
That it took a little bit that the bank did it.
Yeah.
They didn't even,
Yeah.
back in the 70s and 80s, the bank did it.
Dang, it was like a manual. It might have been a manual
There's somebody back
button
there.
click.
All right. Thank y'all for being on. Go get some sleep.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.